WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
I like to think of myself as a very flexible person.
President Trump says yesterday's suspected chemical attack in Syria has changed his attitude toward the Assad regime. Fox Radio's John Decker is live at the White House.
Calling the deadly chemical attack horrific, the president condemned what he called these heinous actions by the Assad regime, saying they cannot be tolerated.
People were shocked to hear what gas it was. That crosses many, many lines, beyond the red line, many, many lines.
The president declined to specify what exactly he might do in response, but he said his attitude towards Syria and its president, Bashar al-Assad, has changed very much, adding that the deaths of women, children, and babies had a big impact on him. Lisa?
Thanks, John. This as the president held a joint news conference with Jordan's King Abdullah. The two leaders also discussing renewed Mideast peace efforts.
And it is our job to facilitate the atmospherics between Israelis and Palestinians to move together and give the support to the president to be able to smooth the edges over between Israelis and Palestinians to achieve this.
King Abdullah praising what he calls the president's courage and commitment. The president's border wall may be shrinking.
He knows that we're not going to build a concrete wall, a 2,000-mile concrete wall. The president knows that, right?
Missouri Senator Claire McCaskill at a hearing today. Homeland Security Chief John Kelly.
We need to protect the southwest border in any way that makes sense.
He says the president knows he's looking at every variation. A retreat on Wall Street. The Dow down 41 points after an earlier triple-digit rally. The Fed minutes getting at least part of the blame for the big chill. Those minutes from the March meeting reflecting debate over the pace of interest rate hikes and how to assess the impact of President Trump's plans for the economy. Again, at the bell, the Dow down 41 points to 20,647. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Over 3 million businesses use Indeed.com for hiring, and independent research shows that 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. By creating the easiest, most effective hiring experience, we help businesses find great new people every day. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Here's a little ditty about that John Deere mower deck that mows faster, better. It's not how fast you mow, my friends, it's how well you mow fast. If you just mow fast but your yard looks bad, then you got a lot of ugly grass. You need a John Deere to take care of your yard. You need a Z-Track Z3 45R. It's not how fast you mow, my friends, it's how well you mow fast. The XL deck's got more capacity for yards like yours that get to grassity. Want to mow well in the higher gear? See a John Deere dealer, nothing runs like a deer.
Southern U.S. riding out the latest in a string of powerful storms. This one spawning at least one reported tornado in southwest Georgia, but no reports of any injuries. A rare spring storm in Northern California could cause flooding now and later this year.
Stormy weather could last from Thursday through Saturday and could hit parts of Northern California that have already seen quite a bit of flooding during this past unusually wet winter.
So our biggest concern is for kind of low elevation creeks and streams.
Reno National Weather Service meteorologist Scott McGuire says this storm could also add to problems later on. It could add up to 5 feet of snow in parts of the Sierras, which already have a huge snowpack.
The further and further we head into spring, obviously the quicker and quicker the temperatures can warm up and melt that snowpack extremely quickly.
He says that could create additional flooding later on this year. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Springtime means more icebergs in the North Atlantic shipping lanes, but not usually this many this early. More than 400 icebergs reported over the past week, forcing vessels to slow to a crawl or detour hundreds of miles. Experts say uncommonly strong counterclockwise winds are part of it, drawing the icebergs south, and possibly climate change as well, accelerating the chunks of the Greenland ice sheet breaking off and floating away. A change in a Hall of Fame lineup this week.
Guess who's replacing Neil Young to induct Pearl Jam into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Friday? The Rock Hall making the statement Young is regrettably no longer able to induct Pearl Jam due to illness and is thrilled former TV talk show host Letterman will substitute. Pearl Jam made its Late Show with David Letterman debut in 1996 with the version of Hail Hail. Also being inducted this year, the late rapper Tupac Shakur, ELO, Journey, Nile Rodgers, Joan Baez, and Yes.
Fox's Jacqueline Carl. The ceremony is being held in Brooklyn. And Lisa Brady. Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you comfortable all year long.
We weren't even supposed to be here right now.
No, but we got plenty to talk about
yes, we
now.
do. Yes, we do.
Call 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Expect occasional rain to continue for the next several hours. Knocked out our bus trip and the Cardinals-Cubs game today. A low of 35 tonight. Thursday, mostly sunny, high 51, a low of 33. Looks like that forecast of snow has gone out the window a little bit, but it'll be cold and rainy possibly. Friday, mostly sunny, high 56, low of 35. Should be a beautiful sunny weekend up in the 60s and 70s. Right now, though, overcast, scattered showers, 51 in Champaign-Urbana.
Cool, dude, isn't it? It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lante, Jeremy Warner. Well, we got the Masters tomorrow.
We do?
And now you've got a Cubs-Cardinals game tomorrow at 12:45. Today's game rained out down at Busch Stadium, and Stevie J had 3 buses ready to roll down. Included on that bus, 9-year-old Andrew Tay.
No.
But I think they are making the most of it. Gene texted me and said he wants a Fowler jersey. How long is he going to be with the Cardinals? That's what she said. I'm like, 5 years. You're good.
5 years.
You're good. Go ahead.
Or they trade him.
Right. I'm like, go ahead and get him the Fowler jersey. I think he's fine.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's
so
a good
why not?
player to like.
He's good. I agree, 100%.
But I don't think people will be buying Jeremiah Tillman Illini jerseys.
Tillman.
This recruitment, man. I have been tired of it for a while, but this long and winding recruitment, yes, it has taken another turn. 2 days after the retweet heard round the world.
Yes.
Seen round the world.
Seen round.
He Instagram posts that he has asked out of his national letter of intent from Illinois. It hasn't seemed like he's heard back from Illinois quite on that, but Illinois also has a new assistant coach. I was going to talk about what I've heard, but Evan Daniels from Scout, our network, has reported that Orlando Antigua, the former Kentucky assistant and South Florida coach, will join Brad Underwood's staff. But first, let's get into this Jeremiah Tillman news. He said, my family and I feel it is only fair that we hear all opportunities and not be stuck in one situation. He said, Illinois will always remain an option because of my ongoing relationship with Coach Walker, but this is my future and I need to be certain before coming to campus in June. He mentioned that he was going to come to Illinois for John Gross.
Okay.
At his press conference signing, he said it was Jamal Walker.
Yes.
All along, the family has said that if Jamal Walker's there, he will be there.
Okay.
And that's obviously part of why Underwood wanted to keep Jamal Walker on this staff. I will not blame a kid for researching all his opportunities. Nope. He's got to make sure. But for Illinois, this is a tough blow.
Yeah, it is a tough blow.
It is a tough blow this late in the process. They will probably let him out of his intent.
Sure.
Because if you don't, that's really bad publicity for you.
Yes, it is.
Now, he probably is going to go to Missouri.
Okay.
I think it's going to be Missouri or SLU.
And they're getting better quick.
And Missouri has been around for a while. They had Michael Porter Jr., his brother, who's a top 50 prospect as well. Konzo's getting talent, and Konzo's going to be a thorn in the side.
Yes, he is.
And Jeremiah Tillman, I think, is a very good prospect, and he's the kind of big man you need to compete in the Big Ten. This process has left me... Is it worth all of it?
Right.
But talking to people, they say yes. He's worth it because he's athletic, possible future NBA player. So this is a big blow for what is supposed to be maybe not a rebuild. That big of a rebuild for Brad Underwood. This makes it even more of a rebuild.
It does. And okay, do you want me to go the professional way here, or do you want me to go the fan way? Right? I'll start with fan. I know there's a lot of listeners out there. There's a lot of Illini fans who would love for you and I to just come on here and start bashing this and start bashing Jeremiah Tillman about loyalty and the fact that you said you were in it for John Gross.
Head coach was fired.
Yeah. Then you said you were in it if Jamal Walker stays and all of this. And so Walker stays and now you want out. And that's the fan in me, okay? The professional in me says this. There's a reason I went to Southern Illinois University, because they were ranked 4th in the country in radio television. I went down there for a reason. I went down there because I wanted to study with some of the best professors. I wanted to be able to get my diploma and then have a chance in the world with regards to radio television, whether it was on TV, whether it was on radio, whatever it was. I wanted to have SIU on my diploma to say, look, I went to a school that cares about radio television. Jeremiah Tillman might look at this, and this is me trying to understand things. He may look at this and say, Brad Underwood, his offense does not do anything for me. It may not absolutely include me to the point where I'm going to get noticed like I want even after 1 year.
Yeah.
Maybe Tillman wants 1 year under a coach that wants to develop him underneath, give him the ball every time so that after 1 year he can jump to the NBA. This kid wants to play in the NBA. He wants to make a lot of money. He's probably going to end up making a lot more money than you and I combined or a lot of our listeners combined. I can't blame a kid for this. Think of Oklahoma State fans and those recruits coming in that thought they were going to play for Brad Underwood, and he skipped town and came to Illinois. They're upset. They're obviously upset. Now, we as the Illini fans
to be a little bit,
no doubt,
because he signed a contract.
Yes, he did. And we as the Illini fans are now upset. I'm not telling you shouldn't be upset.
No,
I think this stinks. But Jeremiah Tillman is a kid that is worried about his future, and he's trying to figure out what's the best option. Is Missouri the best option? I don't know. Is St. Louis the best option? Are they better options at Illinois? I doubt it. I think he could come to Illinois and be just as NBA ready or whatever you want to say than those other two schools, but it still comes down to the kid and what he wants to do.
And I know this is easy to say. You want kids who want to be here.
Absolutely.
And for this recruitment, it's always felt like he's always had an eye somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I heard last March, a year ago, March, that this is 13 months ago that he was going to commit to Illinois. It was a matter of time. And then it doesn't happen.
Right.
And he got hurt.
Right.
And months go by. And then July, all of a sudden, he wants to commit to Illinois, and it's all great. And then signing day comes, and he doesn't sign on signing day.
No.
He waits until the last day of the national signing period. So this whole time, I'm sitting there going, what's going on?
What is
here?
wrong with this?
Yeah, why is this not easy? Trent Frazier is the ultimate of how easy. This kid has been locked into Illinois no matter what.
Amen.
And that's rare, but people are going to love that kid because of it.
Yes, they
are.
He
tweeted out today about it.
Yeah, I saw that.
But Jeremiah Tillman always just left me uneasy and always left me, is this kid worth it?
Mm-hmm.
Cliff Alexander towards the end, you were asking yourself, was it worth it?
No
I mean,
doubt.
the talent, yes.
Yep.
If you want to get talent, you got to deal with some of this stuff. But I think he's going to be a very good player. Is he going to be great? Is this a death blow for Illinois? No.
You've said that from the get-go, by the way.
I've heard some. Yeah, I think
I want to point that out so people don't automatically think we're just, now he's not coming, and now you're saying that. Jeremy, you have said from day one.
I think he's a very important player for you if you want to be a contender in the Big Ten.
That is correct. But you've also
he's
cautioned
not Anthony
us.
Davis.
That's
He's
correct.
not DeMarcus Cousins.
That is correct.
And those guys were recruited by Orlando Antigua, by the way.
Oh, really?
Who's joining the Illini staff. We'll talk about that here in a second. But this recruitment's just left me exhausted.
Yes.
It's left me exhausted, but this hurts.
It does hurt. It really does hurt.
This really hurts Illinois, and this becomes more. This puts even more pressure on Brad Underwood that this isn't going to be a non-rebuild, right? This is a rebuild.
Yes.
Because I don't think Mark Smith's going to come here.
Okay.
This is just my opinion.
Okay.
I think Michigan State or Kentucky are going to get him.
Okay.
And Illinois, we talked about, you got to take advantage when downstate talent is here, whether it's Brad Underwood's fault or not, or it's just bad timing with John Gross, and John Gross couldn't get it done. You're going to miss on definitely the top three talents downstate Illinois has produced in a long time.
Absolutely. You
Mark
look at
Smith, Jordan Goodwin,
Yes.
and Jeremiah Tillman.
And
that hurts.
It
because
does hurt.
if you had those three players with DeMonte Williams and with Javon Pickett,
right.
I think you're going to be really good for a long time here. And now you don't get them. Whether it's Gross's fault or Underwood's fault or just everything put together, that hurts for Illinois. And this is going to be more of a rebuild now because who's your five? Yeah, you got to go find somebody. I know Clifton Moore, the Indiana signees, asked out of his letter of intent.
Okay.
Go after him. I'm sure
Right.
Jamal Walker's all over that right now. And then Jamal Walker. Part of the reason he was kept
Absolutely.
was to get Jeremiah Tillman and
That
help
went
with
through
Mark
my
Smith.
mind.
Doesn't seem like it's going to happen. Now, I think Jamal can be a very good recruiter
Right.
still and really help this staff. But you got to go find big men. You might have to go some transfers here. And next year's roster Michael Finke's your 5.
Yeah.
Who's your backup 5? Right? I mean, Kipper Nichols and LaRon Black are your 4s.
Right. There's not a backup 5 right now.
Maybe Underwood can make it all work, and that's why he was brought here. Was because that class wasn't important enough to keep John Gross for another year.
Correct.
I've heard a lot of other people in the industry tell me, Jeremy, they should just keep Gross, get that recruiting class, and these are people I really respect.
Okay.
And then go fire him next year so you have those players, and then you can have your new coach with a bunch of talent.
It's a thought I've thought about.
Right. But I thought, go get your coach. The recruiting class isn't as important as going to get a good coach. We'll find out pretty quickly how good of a coach Brad Underwood is.
Well, and that's the case. We don't know. We're not going to know in 4 or 5 years when we look back, and if Brad Underwood has Illinois humming at a great rate, and we look back and say, you know what, they did make the right decision. They went out, they got the coach, they didn't worry about the recruiting class. He was able to keep 3 of those 4 guys. We don't know yet about Smith, but you're right. I think indications seem that Michigan State would be a leader here, and it's hard when you've got when you've got Tom Izzo coming to town and you've got John Calipari coming sniffing around. That's hard to blame a kid for saying, well, I think I'm going to stick with my team that I've always just rooted for. I mean, the thing that smacks me in the face as an Illini fan, and I've known this for a long time, and it stinks, but the thing that smacks you in the face is you're just really not that cool. Illinois is just really not that cool now.
Hasn't been for 12 years,
Not
guys.
for a long time, and that stinks. And that stinks because when you go after 5-star recruits, they want you to be cool.
Yeah, and you know what helps you do that? Get wins, but you need players to do that.
Yeah, it's
so
the chicken or the egg,
chicken
right?
or the egg, but it's important to get players who fit your system that are going to be there for a while, in my opinion, and are bought into it. And now that's Underwood's task, is either to go get those great players with Antigua and Jamal Walker and maybe another guy on staff I'll bring up here in a second who I think is going to join, or it's to find these under-recruited guys like Wisconsin does every year.
Amen.
That John Beilein finds every year that fit his system and they can evaluate and say that guy's going to turn into a great college player in my scheme.
The difference is, and you spelled it out the first 5 minutes, the difference is I think Brad Underwood is one of those guys. He's going to go find his guy. I don't think Brad Underwood is going to chase 5-stars because they're 5-stars. I think he's going to look at guys that he knows.
But he's going to try and get them if he can get them.
There's no doubt he's going to try to get them, but I think he's going to look at guys that fit into his system and play the way he does. The difference here is if you kept Tillman and kept this entire class together and somehow reeled in Smith, you're going to win early. While then going to look for your guys in the next few years of recruiting, you pull in with Smith and Tillman a top 10 class in the country, and now you've got that solidified to where that's your backbone, and now you can go add the pieces you want. Well, right now that makes it more difficult because now all of a sudden you don't have a backup 5 or even a number 1 5 with Finke maybe the backup going forward. So it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt with wins and losses. There's no doubt.
People have asked, will Illinois deny his request?
No.
That's bad PR.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's bad PR, and you can't block him. Once you let him out of his national letter of intent, it's not like a transfer.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah,
okay.
You can't block him.
Okay,
after
fair
that.
enough.
He's free to go wherever.
Fair enough. I'm glad you explained that.
The other big news, and this is what I'm going to lead with today, is I'd been hearing, this is a name I heard the day Underwood had his introductory press conference, and it was a name that really intrigued me, and I put on our site then, and then the last couple of days been hearing building buzz, and made a few calls, and Evan Daniels from Scout got the confirmation that Orlando Antigua will join the Illini basketball staff. Antigua's got an interesting history.
Yeah, why is this big news for me?
He was an ace recruiter for John Calipari at Kentucky in Memphis from 2008 to 2014. Here are some of the guys he played a role in recruiting. Anthony Davis, John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, Nerlens Noel, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Julius Randle, Enos Kanter, Eric Bledsoe, Brandon Knight. Those are just some of the first-round picks.
That's pretty good.
Terrence Jones as well.
Yeah.
He turned that job into the head coaching job at South Florida, but he was fired on January 3rd, midway through a 5-year contract.
Wow.
The Bulls at USF were 23-55 overall, including 7-30 during American Athletic Conference play.
Okay.
That's not where it gets interesting, though. The Bulls also are currently under investigation by the NCAA for alleged academic fraud. Antigua's brother Oliver resigned as a USF assistant last summer after the investigation was announced. Antigua was played for Pittsburgh from 91 to 95, spent 5 years on Jamie Dixon's staff. There was the director of basketball operations for a couple years, an assistant as well. Was born in the Dominican Republic, was the head coach of the Dominican Republic national team for a couple years as well. And he also played for the Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh, wow.
So he knows Manny Jackson.
Ah.
But this is a little complicated.
It is.
Because do sanctions follow him? And how does that impact Illinois? And for Josh Whitman, who's talked all about integrity.
Yes, he has.
Have to do this with integrity. This guy was an assistant at Kentucky, and Illini fans, you all do it.
Yes, you do.
Kentucky cheats to get players.
Yep.
Well, if you believe that, I don't know if I believe it now. I don't think they have to.
No, I don't think they do either.
I think they got all these NBA guys. They just go, you want to be in the NBA?
That's
We'll get you
exactly right.
the NBA.
I think I could recruit Kentucky now.
And some people think that with Antigua, which would be interesting to see how he does without John Calipari. But if you think that, then you're thinking Antigua was part of that.
Okay, that's
also,
fair.
academic fraud. I mean, we don't know exactly what happened there. The NCAA hasn't ruled on that. But I brought up Antigua yesterday when people were railing against Roy Williams.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Well,
it sounds like academic fraud doesn't get you in trouble, so I think we're good.
This is an interesting hire.
It is
I think
interesting.
it could be a very good hire because he could be a really good recruiter. But for Illinois fans who are holier than thou sometimes.
Right. This is interesting.
And for Josh Whitman, who's talked about this.
That's what shocks me more than anything.
This is my question for him. Is you talked all about integrity. This guy has these allegations against him. Kentucky has a lot of rumors around them.
Right.
What do you think of that?
I don't know. And here's the thing. First of all, I didn't even think we were having a show today, and now you're blowing my mind with all these things. I have so many thoughts in my head that I cannot spit out into actual thoughts or speaking. All along, we've been asked to trust Josh Whitman, right? And so far, so good on Josh Whitman. This even boils down to this. He hired a coach in Brad Underwood instead of hiring Conzo Martin. We just had somebody text in, should Illinois have hired Conzo Martin? Now, if he does hire Antigua, if this is indeed a deal, I'm going to trust Josh Whitman on this. I'm going to trust that Josh Whitman, number one, first and foremost.
I'm sure. I heard last week on that Whitman would be reluctant to approve Antigua, who Underwood really wanted.
You and I have talked about this off the air, thinking, you know what, that's not going to happen.
I don't think, and a lot of people I've talked to thought it wouldn't happen.
Okay.
It seems like Antigua came here, met with Whitman, met with Underwood, and everything's good to go.
And that's where I trust Josh Whitman, because here's why. Number one, more than anything in the world, I think Josh Whitman cares about this university more than anything in the world. I don't think he wants to do one thing to hurt this university. And he's alluded to that in press conferences. He alluded to it in a press conference with Brad Underwood. So I think I trust him with regards to he got the story from Antigua. He got everything and probably said, before I even hire you, you better explain to me and you better sell to me why I should hire you as an assistant here and why you're not going to bring trouble to Illinois. So in that regard with him, I trust him. Yeah. I do. And it goes down to that. Maybe that's too simple of a question or an answer, but I do trust Josh Whitman that he's checked everything out.
I'd love to hear, and we'll request it at some point, to hear Josh Whitman.
Yeah.
His opinion on this.
Absolutely.
Because for a guy who's talked all about integrity,
right,
this guy brings some baggage potentially.
He totally does.
Right? And I think it could be a very exciting hire.
Yep.
Right, that's a big time splash.
It is.
But it also comes with a little baggage. I like to hear from Josh Whitman.
I mean, it could have been his brother that did it and brought Antigua down with him.
You're the head coach.
It's still you. You're exactly right.
As for a third assistant, the name I keep hearing and hear it's close to being done is Chin Coleman. Ronald Chin Coleman. He's out of the Chicago area, so we talk about Chicago guy. He coached at Bradley, got Josh Cunningham to come to Bradley.
Oh, yeah.
Now is an assistant at UIC.
Okay.
Was on Tim Miles' staff as director of basketball operations, some support staff role, but he's your Chicago guy. Not as splashy as Jamal Walker or Orlando Antigua by far, but that's a guy with the Chicago connections. But what this tells me is Underwood is building an assistant staff of recruiters.
Yes.
He also has a staff that he isn't very familiar with.
Right.
I mean,
that is
Lamont
exactly
Evans
right.
hasn't no guys who have coached under him.
No.
Right? No, I think a lot of his support staff, like Stephen Gentry, is likely to come with him. That'll be his X's and O's guy.
Okay.
But he can't coach on the court.
No.
All right, so Underwood's got to be confident in his coaching ability.
Which I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
I'm sure he is. Man, that was a big first segment.
That's a lot. It's a lot to unpack there.
It totally is.
And there's a lot to unpack throughout the day. Derek Piper, I feel bad for him. He's on vacation.
Yeah, he's in Vegas.
Vegas.
He's like a coach now. You guys are like coaches now. You can't get away from this.
I know.
You can't get
Covering
away from
Illinois athletics.
And guess
man.
what? You're not making, Jeremy, $1.7 million. Maybe you are.
Yeah.
Maybe you are, and I apologize if you and Pipes are doing that, but I don't know how you do it.
Not.
I really don't know how you do it. I saw a tweet from Tupper that basically, Mark Tupper, our buddy, that basically said, I don't know why people get so vested in these recruits until they actually get here and sign.
Because it's about, for a
hope.
program that has struggled, even Tups gets into this.
No, I know. No,
so I know people say that,
Yep.
but you can't not, because what matters at this level, it's getting talent.
Yep.
You got to get talent. Now, maybe that talent is a 3-star recruit.
Yep.
But most teams winning, North Carolina.
Amen.
Kansas.
It's
Kentucky.
the same teams. Well, and that's what I told you guys. We were talking to everybody in here before the show started, and I said, I'm not going to act like a 46-year-old guy that doesn't care about this stuff. I do care about a Jeremiah Tillman coming to Illinois because I know what that can bring to the team that I pull for. And I know that when Illinois basketball and Illinois football and Illinois sports is good, Lante's a happier guy.
Yep.
Now, that's not all that runs my life. I know I've got kids that make me a lot happier than that, but I'm promising you right now, and a lot of the listeners who agree, when Illinois sports is doing well, I'm a happier guy. Why wouldn't you be?
So we had a show scheduled,
Yes,
and we're
we
still
did.
going to hit some of that stuff.
Okay.
Mike Small, Illini golf coach, is going to join us this hour, talk about the Masters, talk about his team as they gear up for the Big Ten championships later this month, as well as the national championships, which are Rich Harvest Farm. Of course, they have to make that.
Right.
The NCAA Regional, they're number 7 in the country right now. We'll also ask him about Thomas Peters at the Masters, DA Points with a big week. And then the 4 o'clock hour, Howard Milton, Senior Associate Director of Athletics of Development, is going to join us at 4:30 in studio.
Okay.
Talk about their new initiative with the iFund. So we'll talk to him about that. And then Dan Hartwell, Illini baseball coach. We may reschedule that for tomorrow. He's supposed to join us in the 5 o'clock hour.
Is Rayvonte coming on?
I know. He's going to hate us for it. He's going to hate us for it.
Inside joke.
But I know, we'll talk with Dan, and people are going to want to know more about Tillman and all those things.
Understood,
So
and I think Dan understands.
I want to give him an audience that might actually want to talk about that stuff. So we'll try to get Dan on either today or tomorrow. But coming up later this hour, we'll talk with Mike Small, Derek Piper in the 5 o'clock hour, and Howard Milton in the 4 o'clock hour.
And Brad Sturdy is going to join us at 4:05.
Awesome.
That was done behind your back. No, it wasn't. I'm kidding. But it was put on the screen by Austin, our executive producer.
Awesome.
So Brad Sturdy at 4:05. We've got you covered here on all the questions you want to ask. We are, listen, we'll take your questions. We can't get to all of them. You guys text a ton, and we love every one of them. We read them all. We try to gauge kind of your idea, and sometimes we take 2 or 3 and put those into a thought. So if you want to text us, 359-2255. That's 217-359-2255.
And no, I do not believe Jeremiah Tillman is following John Gross to Akron.
No, I don't.
For those who are
If
wondering.
he does, I
Whatever.
would feel so
Okay.
much better
Cool.
for Jeremiah. I'd be like, great. Good for John Gross.
This
is the way I would
Mizzou,
say
Illinois
that.
thing, man.
Oh, that's heated up in a heartbeat. Right? I think I said last year I was kind of getting bored by it.
Not
Wow.
anymore.
This thing is back. It is the Tay and J Show.
Pride in giving you the perfect fit for your athletic shoes. Their team of experts will help you in selecting the style that fits your purpose and your feet. Body and Soul has offered the best prices and best quality for more than 30 years. And they aren't just shoes. Whether it's walking, running, swimming, or biking, or whether it's for you or the whole team, visit Mike or Jed and their experienced staff at Body and Soul, Route 45 Savoy. Call 356-8926 or visit soulsports.com. Hey, it's Stevie J. Have the roof your home deserves. For your next roofing project, why don't you go with Roof Doctors, a locally owned and family-operated business for over 25 years. They use superior materials. They're a certified shingle contractor, so they can offer a 50-year non-prorated full system warranty, and they won't loan your work out to subcontractors. Hey, Roof Doctors has worked on my home, and the results are fantastic. But don't just take it from me. With an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, Roof Doctors has plenty of satisfied customers. Get a free quote at roofdoctorsco.com.
When your car breaks down, you realize just how much you need it. And when it breaks down, Beaumont Alignment Plus steps up. For routine maintenance like brakes, oil changes, tune-ups, batteries, and tires, you can count on Beaumont Alignment Plus. Bigger issues including alignment, suspension work, starters, alternators, transmission requires specialists. So get to know Beaumont Alignment Plus for your vehicle repairs. With locations on Bloomington Road and Denison Drive in Champaign, you're never far from the help you need. It's good to know that quality service is still affordable at Beaumont Alignment Plus. Spring has sprung, and for 25 years, Prairie View Landscaping has been the premier locally owned and operated lawn care provider in central Illinois. Prairie View Landscaping is a full-service company, a one-stop shop for all your lawn care and outdoor needs. So email Lindy at Prairie View Landscaping today at mypvdiscount@gmail.com. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. Prairie View Landscaping, celebrating 25 years in business. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com.
Hello, this is Shane Colt from Country Arbors Nursery. Spring is finally here and Country Arbors is open and ready to supply you with all your home and garden needs. We grow hundreds of thousands of annuals and 600 varieties of perennials right here in Urbana. If you're looking for a large shade tree, then you'll want to come out and see our thousands of trees dug and ready to be planted. Country Arbors offers a planting service on all our trees. Buy 3 or more trees and we'll give you 20% discount on the tree and the planting. We guarantee all of our larger trees that we plant for 5 years. And don't forget, we deliver dozens of different mulches and stone. You can find out more information and directions at countryarbors.com.
When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Hello, I'm Austin Berkland with your 3:30 Sports Center update brought to you by Prairie View Landscaping. Email mypvdiscount@gmail.com for a free quote, and you get up to 25% off your 2017 lawn care through April. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. The long and winding recruitment of Jeremiah Tillman took another huge turn today. The five-star center posted on Instagram that he asked for his release from his national letter of intent. Tillman committed to Illinois last July but did not sign his letter of intent until the final day of the fall signing period. Tillman said he signed to play for John Gross, but he and his family want to hear all opportunities and not be stuck in one situation. He said Illinois will remain an option because of assistant Jamal Walker, but Missouri is expected to be a major player for him. Former USF head coach and Kentucky assistant Orlando Antigua will join Brad Underwood's staff at Illinois as an assistant coach. This is according to Evan Daniels. He joins Jamal Walker as a part of Underwood's inaugural staff. Akron made it official today. They announced the hiring of John Gross as their new head coach for the Zips. The St. Louis Cardinals fell to the Chicago Cubs last night with a score of 2-1. Wade Davis picked up his first save as a member of the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs scored runs on RBIs from Jason Hayward and Javier Baez. Jake Arrieta pitched 4-hit, 1-run, 6-strikeout ball. Waino of the Cards gave up 3 hits, 2 walks, and 2 runs in 5 innings pitched. Today's game between the Cubs and Cardinals was postponed to tomorrow at 12:45. It will be John Lackey versus Lance Lynn. Caleb Swanigan of Purdue has declared for the NBA draft but will not hire an agent.
Okay.
Tay and J guest Michael Weissenberg has Swanigan mocked 28th to the Lakers. Swanigan averaged 18.5 points per game and 12 rebounds per game. Former St. Thomas More star Tori McCoy will transfer from the Ohio State Buckeyes. She was named to the Big Ten All-Freshman team last year and led the Buckeyes in blocks. And Marshawn Lynch, he's going to unretire.
Really? You got anything else? Is that all you got? Okay, that's all Austin has. I don't know how he was able to fill up an update. All right, Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Mike Small, Illini golf coach, going to join us here in a second.
Yeah, he's got a flight at 4.
Oh, okay.
We wanted to get Mike on. I know it's a busy day, but they deserve a little bit of pub here.
Amen.
And the Masters coming up, and with DA Points and Thomas Peters, we'll talk all about Jeremiah Tillman today. We got Brad Sturdy at 4:05, Derek Piper at 5:05. Is this a bad net day for Illinois, or is this a positive net day with Antigua joining, or is it a positive negative with Tillman leaving?
I'm going negative for now. Okay,
until we see what Antigua can do.
Right. I think I'm going negative only because I think I could picture Jeremiah Tillman on that court a couple of years, and now you get the idea of a 5-star saying no to you. Yeah. So I'm going to go the other way because I'm pessimistic.
Also, the news about Tori McCoy transferring from Ohio State. I wonder who she'll be able to transfer to.
That'll be interesting.
But obviously, the St. Thomas More product would look good in the orange and blue.
Would be wonderful to get her right here on this court.
Let's get to the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line, though, and welcome in Mike Small, Illini golf coach, about to get on a flight. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Hey, always a pleasure, guys. How you doing?
Doing well, buddy.
We knew this, but Dylan Meyer's pretty good, huh?
He's getting better. Yes, he's growing up in a lot of ways, and that win last week was a big deal.
Yeah, wins down at Augusta, wins the individual title there. What kind of progress have you seen from your 2 juniors who have a load of talent, Dylan Meyer and Nick Hardy?
Well, they're both progressing in their own way, at their own speed, and they both got different things to work on and to improve on. But, Dylan's always had the physical attributes of hitting the golf ball. Very consistent, very impressive. But his short game of putting needed improvement a couple years ago, and that's really gone to another level. And it's enabling him to shoot some scores and handle some golf courses that he never probably could could have done in the past, and it's really created a whole new dynamic for his game. And Nick, Nick hits the ball like just like a superstar, and he needs to work on some certain things too, short game and emotional restraint in a lot of ways, and some calmness in his game. And you, as a coach, you find things every once in a while that pop in there that you didn't know about that you need to address. But those guys are pretty good. I think Dylan's 6 and Nick is 19 in the world amateur rankings. That's pretty good, and they're both in the top 15 or 10 in college golf. So they've had a good career so far, but they still have a lot of things they need to do.
And you love the fact that Mike Small can work with them on that stuff and get them better. Mike Small, Illini golf coach, joining us. Coach, your team currently ranked number 7 by Golf Week. Just another reason I've got you on the hot seat here in Illinois. But I'm kidding, Coach, of course. How would you evaluate your team right now?
Well, I'll tell you, Lon, I hear about this hot seat all the time.
I'll give it up.
He's a bad influence on people.
Well, the unfortunate thing is my own hot seat I consider probably a lot hotter than you consider.
Right. That's a good thing.
I need to work on it myself. But now, what was that again? You threw me off the line.
That was my bad. That was my bad. No, just your team in general, Coach. How would you evaluate it at this point? We got a lot of season, obviously, but how would you evaluate the youngsters as well? I know you talked about Meyer and Hardy, but the team overall, how's it look?
We've exceeded expectations, really, according to rankings and number of wins that we probably would have thought we'd have before last fall started. But last fall was such a positive and such a good run we were on there for 2 or 3 months that, we went to number 2 in the country, number 1 for a while, and we played really well. But that was everything was clicking. But then you have some youngsters that had their first winter off in a while, and there's a little break in the season. This spring hasn't probably gone as consistently as we have hoped, but I've seen improvement from every one of them, and that's important. And I don't think we've gelled as a team yet. I don't think we've all played together well at the same time, which you need to do in college golf. And Nick and Dylan have kind of traded off every week. And then our young guys, Michael Fiegels has really come on, had a couple good tournaments, and I'm impressed with his development. But these guys are young, and they're starting to learn. They're seeing what the how tiring college golf can be and how long of a season it is. And our goal has always been to get our games good enough so we don't have to play great to have success. We want to get our games good enough so that our standard or our solid play is good enough to compete for championships. And I think we're making progress in that area, but we're not quite there yet. We've led the last 2 events going into the last round and didn't close like we want to close for a number of reasons. And it just shows me there's talent there, there's ability, but there's something missing that we need to pinpoint and figure out moving forward. And but these kids have to realize that these young ones, that college golf's a long season, and every season, really in any sport in college athletics or any sport in general, there's adversity that hits you throughout the year. And sometimes these kids look at adversity as a bad thing, and they lose confidence. And I like to look at adversity as an opportunity to get better and improve things and to grow as a person. So we're trying to convince them right now that this, we'll talk more this week, this kind of faltering on these last rounds and not maybe playing consistently as we want is an opportunity to grow. And if we can accomplish that heading into the postseason, the Big Ten championship here in a couple of weeks, and the NCAAs, I think we have a chance to be in there in the end again. But if we don't, we're going to, kind of find out where we're at right now.
Sure.
He's Mike Small, Illini golf coach. Coach Fiegels, like you said, is having a heck of a freshman season. Very highly ranked kid, top 20 in his class. So was Brian Baumgarten, and he's not having the same success that Michael's having. But then you have Giovanni Tadiotto kind of pushing him. Eduardo Liparelli, obviously a veteran. What are you hoping to see out of Brian and Giovanni, the back end, that fifth golfer that becomes really important once you get into the postseason?
Yeah, they're all doing a lot of the same stuff, and they all have potential. But I'm looking for these guys to feel have the self-confidence that they can get in the mix and play at a level that they want to play at and we want to play at. I think a lot of us just feeling comfortable and understanding who you are and understanding what you can do. And I think Brian is trying to do too much. Freshmen always have this little lull in their season. They always do, because they come in, they learn new things, they have a new coach. We talk about fundamentals. We talk about how to play. There's always a big adjustment. They learn a lot. There's almost like information overload for these freshmen. And some kids can take it and apply it quickly, and some kids take a step back, but inevitably they'll end up better than they were. It just happens at different paces. And Brian and Giovanni are great kids. I mean, awesome kids, awesome students. I love being around them. But they're frustrated and they have more ups and downs than they probably would like. But I just want to see some consistency and some presence out of them when they play golf and when they step on that first tee. That they're at Illinois for a reason, because they can flat out play golf and they don't have to prove anything to anybody except just be themselves. So I want to see that presence that I think they have, and that confidence, and just continue to to believe they can do it. Because when you get to this time of the year, all the fundamental stuff and all the swing stuff, that's been in the past. We've talked about it. Now it's time to take what you got, apply it, and go compete. So without getting too deep or confusing anybody, that they just need to understand who they are and to go out and lay it on the line and let their talents do the talking. And they've learned a lot this year. I mean, it's in there. They just got to let it come out.
Mike Small, let's talk about a couple of former Illini. One you coached, but I'll start with one that was an Illini before you were coach. Of course, that's D.A. Points. He gets the big win. What a big week for D.A. Points, and obviously gets the 2-year exemption on the tour. He was able to join us here on the Tay and J Show, which was great to have him on. I'm sure you were pretty excited to see D.A. get that done.
Oh, very excited. I know what D.A.'s gone through the last 2, 3, 4 years. He's in his own mind, he struggled. And, in the game of golf, professionals and amateurs alike, they're always hard on themselves. And in reality, it's never as bad as you make it out to be. And that's something that you learn later in life. And he was down and out, and things weren't playing. He wasn't playing good. Wasn't hitting it as well as he wanted to, and his results weren't there. But he was getting better. He was addressing issues, and it was great to see him come out of that and show the strength, the emotional and mental strength down there, and to pull that win out when he was really, at a low for a while there. And to do that just warms my heart, to see kids or young players and even pros, fight through some of that adversity and fight through some of those roadblocks they have to have success. And that's huge for his career. It's just huge for his future, the way he plays this year and next and beyond. And plus, he's an Illini, and that's a big deal. We all stick together, and we want these guys to be, obviously to have a good run. So that's kind of what it's, as a coach looking at, even though I didn't coach DA. He's still one of us, and to see that, we're very, very, very proud of him.
You have a former Illini, though, that will be playing this weekend.
Cool
and Thomas Peters, I think he's 35th in the world golf rankings. We don't get to see him much, Coach, because he's over in Europe. But what are you hoping to see out of him this week? I mean, his career obviously has taken off.
Oh, I'm excited to see how the golf course fits him. I mean, obviously he hits it hard. He hits a little bit of a fade out there at times, and that golf course I think it's grown over the years to have it be good if you do hit a fade. The fairways are getting faster and they're running off, and if he hits it, he carries it far enough, the ball will settle in the fairway, and if he can feel comfortable in that surrounding, in that setting. It's only his third major he's played in, so it's not like he has a lot of experience. But if he can feel good in that setting, I think he'll have some success. To what level, I'm not sure of, but I know physically he has what it takes, and he's growing up with all the other facets of the game, and I think he's in a good place confidence-wise. So I want to see how the golf course fits him, because he's going to play a lot of Masters. This isn't the only one he's going to play.
Right.
Believe me, he's going to be playing a lot of them. So he'll learn and he'll adapt and he'll grow to the golf course. But his first go-around at it's going to be fun to see how it fits him.
It's funny you said fade, because when I get on a golf course, Mike, and I slice 100 miles, I'm like, I'm just fading the ball. I know exactly what I'm doing here. I know what I'm doing. All right, how about this Augusta? You kind of talked about that. Wet and windy at Augusta this weekend. What kind of an impact will that make? And I'm not going to ask you for predictions. Spieth is always good at the Masters, and you've got so many good golfers, and you've touched on that before, that every week somebody else can jump up. That's how good it is. But how will those conditions kind of affect Augusta? What can we look for as viewers?
Well, I haven't paid too much attention to what's going on this week with the tournament, except I saw it rained a lot again today. It rained on Monday when we were there, but I think the forecast is for it to wind start blowing 20 to 25 miles an hour the first 2 days, and then obviously when that blows that hard down there and the humidity leaves after these storms come through, it dries out pretty quick. I mean, these greens, they have sub-air systems in those greens. It's going to dry out fast. So even though it's wet now, I anticipate by the weekend it's going to be firm and fast the way they want it. So it's going to be fun to see how they handle that. But the wind conditions are going to be something. Usually they don't have that at Augusta very much. I mean, it's going to blow over 20 miles an hour, constant, gusting higher. It's going to be a brutal golf course. So I think experience helps, but obviously these young guys, the way they're bombing the ball and the way they're transforming the game is going to be fun to see. So I think the same old names are going to be there of the young ones. The Spieths and the Jason Days and the Dustin Johnsons, those guys. are all going to be there. But there's always one or two guys that you may not think of that kind of are on the leaderboard, and a lot of times they'll fade. But last year, one of them won, so it's always a neat story to see if any newcomers can sneak in there. But I think the way the course and the conditions are going to be set up, it's going to be a ball striker's paradise.
Should be fun, man. Masters Week is always a great one. Mike Small, Illini golf coach, getting ready to board a plane. We always appreciate your time, Coach. We'll do it again soon, buddy. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, guys. Call anytime, and keep up the good work.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Mike Small, Illini golf coach. I love listening to him just break down things like Thomas Peters. Yeah, I'm excited for Thomas Peters. It's fun to well, first of all, the Masters, I don't care who's in it. I'll watch it every year. I watch every hole. I've DVR'd. I watch every hole. But to have a rooting interest actually in a guy like Thomas Peters, I think that'll be really cool. And like Coach said, he's going to play in tons of these going forward. And you don't get a chance. Even Thomas Peters, we don't get a chance to see these kids a lot here at Illinois. And then he goes to Europe and plays over there and is doing so well. So to be able to sit down like we did in the Ryder Cup and watch many holes with him will be fun.
Dan Hart will be kind enough.
Oh, no.
To move.
I don't even want to know what he's saying.
I was just talking with Brett Moore from the SID. We wanted to have Dan on, talk about a great week, 4 wins in a row. Yes. Then this Tillman news comes up. But if you know our show history, we bumped Dan one day because Ravonte Rice was transferring to Illinois.
And I was in Peoria, Illinois.
Yeah.
I was not
so it was
here.
Carp and I.
And I get a text
from Dan
that says, wow, I'm really chopped liver or something.
For a 19-year-old or a 20-year-old.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Because we had Ray lined up for an interview. We call Ray, doesn't answer.
No.
Call Ray again, doesn't answer. Call Ray again, doesn't answer. And we bumped Dan for it. So we had to bump Dan again today. He's going to join us next week when they have a home.
Okay.
Which is actually even better. Sense. Hopefully they get a couple wins this weekend against Michigan, but he's going to give us crap. And it is deserved because we bump him again because of news of an 18-year-old's decision.
I know this is an equal 50-50 split here between you and I, but I really am going to push this on him that it was like 70-30 you.
Okay.
Because he gives me so much crap for everything else.
I will take the blame.
Okay, I feel like I need you to get a little
you
heat from
can give me 100 of that. You can give me 100
just
of
to equal us all out with everything.
Yeah.
All right, so Dan Hartlip scratched today from the show, but we've got plenty to do. We've got Brad Sturdy at 4:05. We've got Derek Piper at 5:05, and those two, of course, we will talk straight out about Jeremiah Tillman's decision. There I go.
Forgot his name already.
Josh Lunas Thomas, some guy that might go to Missouri. We'll ask them about them, plus the assistant coaches. We're getting some word on that going forward. Lots to do.
If you want to weigh in, 359-2255, 217-359-2255. Orlando Antigua added to Brad Underwood's staff. Jeremiah Tillman deleted from the signing class. He's asking out of his national letter of intent, and usually that means he's not going to sign.
He's keeping Illinois?
No.
Okay, I agree.
Probably not going to happen.
All right. Back with your texts and calls, 359-2255. It is the Tay and J Show.
April is a great time to come to Ford of Hoopston and check out all the deals. This is Jen Shelby, inviting you in to see why Ford has the highest owner loyalty in the industry. With vehicles like the F-150, best-selling truck every year since 1977, or the Explorer, #1 SUV for 25 years running. There's always a lot to check out. Need something smaller or faster? There's the Mustang, still America's sweetheart of sports cars. We've got something for everyone. Come in and drive one today.
Ford of Hoopston, near the corner of routes 1 and 9, and online at fordofhoopston.com.
The ribeye has the best, the greatest steak in town.
If you're looking for Champaign-Urbana's great steak place, it's the Ribeye Restaurant. Still with their famous salad bar and their delicious seasoned fried shrimp and delicious grilled chicken entrees. The Ribeye Restaurant, 1701 South Neal Street in Champaign. For reservations, call 351-9115.
The ribeye is the best. We're the one, the great one steak place.
The sounds of spring and the smell of flowers in the air, they all add up to Spring Green, America's neighborhood lawn care team. That lush green lawnscape is a result of a reputation earned through consistent performance. They become your favorite through quality service and professionalism. Spring Green will service and maintain your lawnscape with seeding, aeration, fertilizing, weed reduction, disease, and insect control. Now the ease and trouble-free convenience of Spring Green's professional lawn care's full program is yours at savings of 20% for new customers. It's backed by their guarantee of satisfaction. Over 32 years of satisfied customers reflect their commitment to Champaign-Urbana and the Mattoon-Charleston area. Call Spring Green at 217-359-2111 or online at spring-green.com at 217-359-2111.
If you have nothing to smile about, schedule an appointment today at Angel Smiles Dental Center in Rantoul. Turn your frown upside down and show off those beautiful teeth. We all have unique smiles, and we know what it takes to maintain those smiles. After all, a smile is like a personal signature, whether young or old. Maintaining your beautiful smile has never been easier with a visit to Angel Smiles Dental Center. From fillings, crowns, and root canals to dental implants and braces for kids and adults alike, Angel Smiles Dental Center in Rantoul will serve your entire family for all of your dental needs in all stages of life. Angel Smiles accepts the medical card for most services. For those children 20 and under, they accept a number of insurance plans, and they have an in-house dental plan to help people who have no insurance at all. Angel Smiles Dental Center is waiting to see you. Schedule a visit today at Angel Smiles Dental Center in Rantoul. Visit angelsmilesdentalcenter.com. That's angelsmilesdentalcenter.com or call 892-8868.
Make a difference in Champaign County. Join the Champaign County Sheriff's Office. Apply by April 21st. Applicants must be 21, have a high school diploma, and possess a valid driver's license. Apply to become a Champaign County Deputy Sheriff. Here's what Sergeant Bolt and Deputy Donovan have to say about their job.
Every day is going to be different. I enjoy the variety. We can go from Ludlow all the way down to Pasodum, and we're handling a wide variety of different things, crimes and accidents. You know, I enjoy interacting with people and interacting with the public, and as a police officer, even opportunity to, from time to time, make an impact on somebody's life in a positive way.
You know, I think anybody that is up to dealing with things that are tough to deal with, I mean, emotionally and physically, it can be a very difficult job. You know, at the Sheriff's Office, we've got an awesome group of people that work together, and, you know, we're all very close, and, you know, I know that everybody there always has each other's back.
Apply by April 21st. Go to espncu.com and click on the Sheriff's logo.
The Champaign County Sheriff's Office is an equal opportunity affirmative action ADA employer. Females and minorities are encouraged to apply.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday morning 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
I feel like that coach that gets the brand new job or makes his team make the NCAA tournament and your phone's blowing up. Like, I promise I'm going to try to get back to everybody texting me right now, about, which I love. Yeah. Don't you love just buddies that care as much as you do about Illinois and this news? And it's like,
So we have on our website, IlliniInquirer.com.
Yep.
We have this eligibility chart, which shows you who's going to be on the roster and what positions right now for next season. Let's go over what Illinois has right now. At point guard, Tejan Lucas and Trent Frazier.
I love it.
I like it.
I like it a lot.
At the two guard, Jalen Coleman-Lands, Aaron Jordan, DeMonte Williams.
I like that.
Solid.
Yep.
At the three, DJ Williams, Kipper Nichols, Javon Pickett. I can work with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I want something better.
Right.
Hopefully Kipper can take a leap.
Yes, if he takes the next step.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Maybe DJ, maybe he'll be a guy that we look back on and go, wow, I'm glad he stuck around, and I'm glad that he emerged.
Like Mav.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, if he could be the next Mav, that'd be fantastic.
I do think DJ Williams is probably more likely to transfer than Aaron Jordan. Though.
Okay.
LaRon Black and Michael Finke at the four.
Love it. Yes.
I think both those guys fit great into this system. They're both great offensive rebounders. Finke especially a great passer out of that high post that Brad Underwood likes to use.
Yep.
I think if those guys are your fours, great.
You're in good shape.
But you have no fives.
And then there's Tommy Johnson from the MP building.
You have no
old
fives.
Or the ARC now.
You have no five. You have 10 scholarships right now on the team for next year.
And you can normally have 13.
You have 3 available scholarships, and that does not include anyone transferring out if somebody transfers out.
Wow.
Now, Brad Underwood is meeting with players this week.
Okay.
Adam Fletcher is very likely to stay on staff. He's working out the players now.
Okay, good.
So Adam Fletcher likely to stay on the staff.
You love this guy.
Great. He's phenomenal. There were very few injuries last year,
yes,
right?
there were. Good call.
And his team looked bigger and as athletic as they can be.
No doubt.
But there is no 5.
Okay.
You need 2 post players. Wow. You probably need a high schooler and a transfer.
You're right.
5th-year transfer.
Which even with Tillman coming, you thought you probably would need a 5th-year guy.
I'd also like a guard.
Yes.
A wing. Some kind of wing that can...
How do we not go down the slope that John Gross went down?
You just don't go for... If you get a multi-year guy, You got to make sure he's the right guy.
Okay.
Ravonte Rice was the right guy.
Right.
But then he kept going with these transfers. I'm cool with the fifth-year transfer because it's minimal investment and minimal risk because
that's exactly
you're
right.
not investing 3 years into Darius Paul.
If they don't work out, it stinks for you now, but you're fine next year.
It doesn't cost you a lot. I mean, you might just have an open scholarship. I'd rather have a guy there as long as he's not too big of a headache, right?
No.
So I like the fifth-year transfer route, and if you're a fifth-year transfer big man out there right now, Illinois looks pretty good.
Ooh,
I got a lot of touches, a new coach. Even if you're a 4, like a Sam McLaurin kind of player, that'd be a nice place to go. And if you're a guy who can score a lot of points on the wing, there's a lot of shots to be had.
No doubt.
So they have that to sell, but I'd like to see a younger 5 or 4 post player. I mean, Mayan Keir's out there. Clifton Moore in Indiana signee is asked out of his letter of intent. There's some guys out there that you can go after, but it's got to happen here pretty quick. And
Mayan
of course,
Keir was the name we heard, right? He was the name
VCU
Illinois
signee.
Okay.
Will Wade left, so LSU. A lot of people think will get him, but it seems like that's open again. So he's asked out of his letter of intent there. Of course, Mark Smith. If you get Mark Smith, I don't feel. I'd rather have him than Jeremiah.
I would
Tillman.
too.
I've been saying that for a couple months.
I was going to say that's stuff that you and I have talked about for a few months.
But Michigan State is coming on strong.
Hard.
Kentucky's visiting him Thursday. I would not be shocked if they offered. And I think it's going to be very tough to get him.
How about the 7'6" dude from UCF or whatever?
Taco Fall?
Yeah, has he got another year?
He declared for the draft.
Oh.
Hasn't signed an agent
Okay,
yet.
well, maybe we can rope him in for a year.
How about Caleb Swanigan? Hasn't hired an agent
I
yet.
thought you meant coming here. I'm like,
I think
love
his dad is basically going to be his agent, so he doesn't need to hire one yet.
Good for him.
That'll be interesting to see if he comes or goes. That has a huge impact, obviously, on the landscape of the Big Ten next year.
No doubt, if that kid comes back. All right, we're going to take a quick call. Matt and Sydney, we got about a minute left here in this hour. How are you, buddy?
Oh, not too bad. How are you guys?
Good, buddy.
Hey, I just, real quick, him backing out on that commitment, the University of Illinois is bigger than what he is. And the other thing is, if he's a one and done, we would love to have him, don't get me wrong, but are we really that bad off if we don't? I mean, the rebuild would have been a lot quicker with him, but, we'll still make it, right? All right, bye.
All right, buddy. Thanks, Matt. Matt, I feel like you're trying to talk yourself into a good mood, and I'm with you on this.
If you can get like a Mayan Keir or Clifton Moore and have him for 4 years as opposed to Jeremiah Tillman for 2,
then that's...
I'd rather have the player.
Yes.
Jeremiah Tillman gives you a lot of buzz, too.
He does, right?
That's another thing is public relations-wise, it's great to have a 5-star, other 5 stars or 4 stars, top prospects want to play together.
These guys see this. They understand what goes on, and now you had that black eye with Cliff Alexander. Now you've got it with Jeremiah Tillman, a kid that told you he was in and then backed out, after he kind of strung you along for a year, essentially. But then again, you had the coaching change and a lot of things developed. So I don't know. Frustrating for sure. And I know everybody has their thoughts on it. Well, we will get Brad Sturdy's thoughts when we come back at 4:05. Derek Piper is going to join us at 5:05 to chat about this and chat about Jeremiah Tillman's decision to opt out of his letter of intent. Illinois has not answered that yet, but we assume they will. And possibly Orlando Antigua. I guess I don't know if it's a done deal, but it's one of the new assistants for Illinois. We'll ask Brad and Derek all about both of those things when we return. It is the Tay and J Show.
Sure, we've been called a mom and pop store. We take it as a compliment. After all, we are family owned and operated with 2 generations actively involved, and 5 of our team members have been with us for around 20 years each or longer. We run our business with old-fashioned customer service as our foundation, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Add our great selection of hand-picked mattresses, all proudly made in the USA at guaranteed lowest prices, and we're sure you won't find a better deal anywhere. Visit us and experience the Illini mattress difference today.
Hanson's Auto Repair in Urbana is a family-owned and operated full-service garage. For over 40 years, they've offered friendly atmosphere, quality work, and reasonable prices. Whether it's an oil change, brake service, or engine replacement, Hanson's Auto does it all. They're a locally owned dealer who cares, providing fast, comprehensive, and expert service. Family-owned, operated, and trusted since 1966. Hanson's Auto Repair, 1202 East Washington in Urbana. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. Visit them online at hansonsautorepair.com.
Awesome Machines Sales and Rentals wants you to take charge of your yard with Toro. Come in now through May 31st and save $100 on Toro Time Cutter zero-turn mowers. Save $300 on Toro Titan HD mowers and save $500 on Toro Z-Master commercial mowers. Awesome Machines has Toro certified parts in stock and they service what they sell. With certified service technicians and trained parts and sales personnel, Awesome Machines is the best choice for your lawn equipment needs. Awesome Machines Sales and Rental, Route 45 in Savoy, Route 36 in Tuscola, and online at awesomemachines.net.
When your computer's not working, you're not working. Hi, this is Dan from Simplified Computers. Whether your computer is running slow, you have a virus, or it's just time for an upgrade, Simplified Computers is here to help with personal service you won't find at the big box stores. We can set up your wireless network, build, install, and maintain your business's server, or replace your hard drive. For over 18 years, we have served the Champaign-Urbana community with integrity and quality customer service. Call us at 352-5000. Simplified Computers, simply the best.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana.
President
Your
Trump
home
says
for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Many lines and has changed his mind about the Assad regime and possibly U.S. policy in Syria.
And I am flexible, and I'm proud of that flexibility. And I will tell you that attack on children yesterday had a big impact on me. Big impact. That was a horrible thing.
He stops short of calling for any military action, but says if he were planning something, he wouldn't announce it to the media.
One of the things I think you've noticed about me is militarily, I don't like to say where I'm going and what I'm doing.
This during a joint White House news conference with Jordan's King Abdullah. Earlier, the UN Security Council holding an emergency meeting on Syria.
Russia cannot escape responsibility for this.
U.S. Ambassador to the UN Nikki Haley.
In fact, if Russia had been fulfilling its responsibility, there would not even be any chemical weapons left for the Syrian regime to use.
She says the Assad regime and its allies, Russia and Iran, have no real interest in peace. Haley also calling out the Security Council for failing to enforce its own resolutions and suggesting if the council won't act, the U.S. will. A federal judge denies a request from the Justice Department to postpone a hearing on an agreement to overhaul the Baltimore Police Department. It's one of several agreements made with police in various cities under the Obama administration after investigations into claims of police brutality and discrimination. New Attorney General Jeff Sessions concerned about the potential impact on fighting crime. But Baltimore officials told the judge they want to move forward with the plan. A late sell-off on Wall Street, the Dow down 41 points to 20,648, a slide pinned mainly on minutes from the Fed's March meeting. The Dow had been about 200 points higher than the closing level during the session. On the Fox Report, fair and balanced.
5 times more hires are made through Indeed.com than any other job site, according to independent research. Imagine a lottery that had 5 times more winners, or a Sunday with 5 times more touchdowns. When you're hiring, it makes 5 times more sense to use Indeed. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Here's a little ditty about that John Deere mower deck that mows faster, better. It's not how fast you mow, my friends, it's how well you mow fast. If you just mow fast but your yard looks bad, then you got a lot of ugly grass. You need a John Deere to take care of your yard. You need a Z-Track Z3 45R. It's not how fast you mow, my friends, it's how well you mow fast. The XL deck's got more capacity for yards like yours that get to grassity. Want to mow well in a higher gear? See a John Deere dealer, nothing runs like a deer.
The U.S. Navy is grounding all of its T-45 training jets because of reports of oxygen poisoning.
Numerous U.S. Navy instructor pilots of the T-45 told me that
there was poison in the oxygen system, preventing them from safely flying the jet, and citing ORM, what the Navy calls operational risk management. These pilots essentially went on strike.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson at the Pentagon. The grounding is being called a 2-day pause at this point as a review continues. President Trump's chief strategist is removed from the National Security Council.
The White House says that Steve Bannon was put on what's known as the NSC's Principals Committee as a check on former National Security Advisor Lieutenant General Mike Flynn to make sure Flynn carried through with a directive to depoliticize the NSC. But with H.R. McMaster replacing Flynn after he misled Vice President Mike Pence about a conversation he had with a Russian official, the president saw no need for Bannon to stay on the committee.
Fox Radio's John Decker at the White House. Bannon can still attend meetings. Pepsi is pulling an ad starring Kendall Jenner that prompted a backlash on social media.
Many saying it trivialized protests for social justice causes. In the ad, Jenner is in a blonde wig modeling. Then it cuts to an Asian man playing cello, then a Muslim photographer. They are all witnessing a growing protest outside their windows. The crowd is diverse with peace signs and signs of love and unity. They grab their cans of Pepsi and eventually join the crowd, then confronted by officers. Jenner steps forward out of the crowd to hand the gear-wearing officers a Pepsi. He sips. They all smile and cheer.
Fox's Michelle Polino. Critics say the image at the end evoked a widely distributed photo of a Black Lives Matter protester in Baton Rouge last year. Pepsi initially defended the ad as a global reflection of harmony. And Lisa Brady on Fox News Radio.
Sometimes it's good that the mics are off.
That's right.
Yeah.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you comfortable all year long, especially during the spring.
Yes.
Or sometimes you need AC because it turns into 85 degrees. Sometimes you need heat the next day because it's 40 and snowing.
Gotta love it.
I guess it's got to be like 32 and snowing, right?
It's Illinois. I think it should be freezing, I think, to snow.
It's going to be 60 degrees and snowing here. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit chiefbauer.com. That is not astronomically possible.
No, I don't think so.
Possible snow flurries tonight, a low of 36. Thursday, mostly sunny, high 51, a low of 33. Friday, warmer, high 56, mostly sunny, low of 36, 60s and 70s.
You remember when it was 70 degrees in February?
I remember.
Yeah, I do too.
Right now, rain throughout the area, 51 degrees in Champaign-Urbana.
It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lon Tay, Jeremy Werner. I'm not kidding you when I say this, and I started out the first hour saying it. Today was supposed to be a Cardinals-Cubs game, which meant we were going to go on late. And you know, Lon, sometimes I just dial it off almost. I just kind of say,
we got an hour and a half show.
Yeah, I'll just wing that. I can wing that. I don't even have to be prepared. I went from that to all of a sudden a full show.
I can't wait for the Cliff text saying prepared.
I know, right? I know.
You ever?
I went from that to all of a sudden Jeremiah Tillman's moving on and Orlando Antigua's being hired as an assistant. I want to take 1 minute, though, before we get to Brad Sturdy. The trip today, Stevie J had 3 buses that were going down to St. Louis. Of course, the game got canceled. So here's the deal. He is left now with some tickets that he has for tomorrow for the game. And we're asking everybody out there, he's going to sell you these tickets for $20 a piece. This is a bargain.
For Cubs-Cardinals.
For a Cub-Cardinal game, I guarantee you.
12:45 start tomorrow.
Yep, there'll be plenty of seats down there. You could probably move on down a little bit. But $20, 12:45 start tomorrow. All you have to do is text us here on the Cheap Hour text line. Just text your name, and we can reserve however many tickets you want. So in other words, you text Lon 4 tickets. That would be $80, of course, but we will save them, and you can start picking these tickets up tomorrow at 7 a.m. right here at our studio.
Please put your whole name.
Please
put your whole name.
That's a good call.
So you can give the ID and you can identify you.
That's a good call. And then if you need directions, just maybe put in there you need directions to our studio. But we're right across from Walgreens off Windsor and Urbana. It's pretty easy to find.
Coming up next hour, we have Derek Piper, Illini Inquirer. We'll also talk with Howard Milton, Senior Associate Director of Athletics of Development, coming up in a little bit. But let's head to the Jupiter's The Crossing phone line now.
I said Walgreens, I meant Meijer. That's my fault. I gave Walgreens a little plug there as well. We're
it's
right
not
across
far
from
away.
Meijer. No, we're still close, though. My fault.
Let's get to the Jupiter's The Crossing phone line now and talk with Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com.
I know this guy, Brad Sturdy. I know him.
Studies on talking hoops. Studies on talking hoops. Studies on talking hoops.
Studies on and he's talking hoops. Studies on and he's talking.
All right, I'm all confused. Basketball season's done. We've moved on to baseball. What are we bringing Brad Sturdy on for? Brad, how are you, buddy?
Good. Ain't nothing exciting happening. So
just another day. Yeah, another day.
All right, Brad, this Jeremiah Tillman recruitment, I have been so exhausted by this.
You guys have to have headaches.
What's happened? Why has this happened? Why has everything happened in this recruitment?
It's one of those things. I'll be honest with you. I feel like repeatedly, we've gone through this, and you've been told by this person, that person that's good, and so forth. But the family's always been there's been some drama involved, and this is kind of this is just another example of people that just taking advantage of a situation, and so it's rough for Illinois. Personally, I think he's not going to come to Illinois. I'd be shocked if he ends up at Illinois now, even though he says he's still considering him. I think he's going to end up at probably Missouri. It sounds like so. It's a tough situation, but at the same time, when you have a coaching change, the only thing I think that you wish would have happened if he'd have just done this right away when they first met, and they when they first met, and instead of saying, "Hey, I'm coming," and then the retweet a day or two ago, and always saying, it's okay, and so forth and so on. So I think that would have been a better way to handle it, giving Illinois more time. But I can tell you this, Illinois is not sitting back there. They've been looking for people anyway, because they felt like they had some front court depth as well, even when Tillman was coming.
So, Brad, what does this mean for Brad Underwood, Jamal Walker, who is in on this recruitment? What does this mean for this staff and this roster moving forward?
Well, I think it hurts for a year, but I don't think that I don't think it has for a long-term thing. I don't think it matters that much. I'll be honest with you. I think Tillman's going to have a hard time playing big minutes in college next year because he's very foul prone. He's a talented kid. Obviously, he's going to be a good player. But I think you had to have other guys to go with him. You can't just have one. You can't just depend on him playing 30 minutes at the 5 spot. And so I think everybody knew that around the program. And so I think it's more of it was a symbolic recruitment. But at the same time, I think Illinois is, for long term, they're going to be fine. And obviously, they made what I think is probably a bigger splash than the Tillman news.
Does this stuff
with their assistant coach hiring?
Yeah, well, right, which we're going to get to in a minute, I promise. Does this stuff happen everywhere? Or is this just? it just seems like Illinois. This just par for the course.
This is big boy recruiting. When you're recruiting high 4 and 5-star kids, and you're going to get this. And this is normal. It is what it is. Illinois had more than their share, and if you look at the kids it's had to, it's been Quentin Snyder, it's been Cliff Alexander, it's been Eric Gordon, it's been these are kids that are, very coveted kids, high, very talented kids, and kids that have lots of options and offers, and so this is big boy recruiting. We've seen it before, and even we kind of forget. Look, Laurent Black at one time was committed to Baylor, if you remember, and now is at Illinois. So this kind of stuff that doesn't just happen in Illinois. It seems to only happen in Illinois in very dramatic situations, though, like after the season, and after a tweet 2 days ago, and then a new tweet today, an Instagram post today. So it's always fun, But yeah, I think definitely it is. It's something that we notice more as Illinois as Illinois fans.
Brad Sturdy, OrangeandBlueNews.com. I told Jeremy last year. I complained last year to him that this whole Missouri-Illinois game down at the bragging rights is getting boring to me. I think this is changing, Brad, in a hurry, especially if Tillman goes to Missouri. This thing is going to be electric next year.
I think it will be nuts. I think it could be fun with Porter, and if Tillman goes to Missouri as we expect, and so forth. I think you're going to see it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a great game. And who knows who Illinois is going to bring in still? So obviously there's a lot of things, and Missouri's lost some players now, and so it's pretty. It is what it is. But there's a lot of things that are going to change. But I think there's definitely going to be some it won't be the kind of a snooze fest like we saw the last couple of years.
No.
I mean, Mayan Keir's out there. Clifton Moore is out there, Brad. I would imagine Jamal Walker will try and get in on that. I mean, are those names you're hearing, and is there any other targets that you would think make sense for Illinois?
There's some other kids out there. I mean, I think they're going to make a pitch for anybody. I think with the new hire, I think there are some connections that he may have. Antigua may have to some kids that may be able to help out there. I think they're going to, go through the fifth-year market as well. There's a few of those guys out there, and I wouldn't be shocked if they went next year and maybe even looked at some transfer options that even have to sit a year, because I think they're building for that 2019 year, and obviously they want to be as good as they can be next year. But you have to look at the long-term picture and the long-term health of your program, and if it means that we got to take a kid that's to the year, but they can really help us win in 2 years, then that's what we have to do. So I think that's where they're looking. But I would say that those are names that you should watch. But I would also say that there are some other names out there that maybe some kids that Antigua might have connection to that you're going to see mentioned here in the next day or two.
Yeah, I know there's some big-time talent still available out there. Now Jeremiah Tillman is added to that. All right, Orlando Antigua, Brad, thoughts on Brad Underwood adding what has been an ace recruiter at Kentucky, also has a little bit of baggage he's bringing from South Florida with that academic fraud scandal. But what do you make of that hire?
Well, the good thing is we're not asking him to teach, so he needs to get players. So academic fraud. I mean, and this just shows that Illinois is trying to win. I mean, they're going out and got probably what would be the most coveted assistant coach on the market. He's a guy that's had a lot of opportunities, and you can see Kentucky people are even like, man, I wish we could have brought him back. And so I think that tells you what kind of guy you're getting as far as a recruiter. He's got great connections nationally. He knows people. He's recruited all over the country. And so I think that it's just a huge hire. I mean, it just shows that Illinois is committed. They're going to pay a little bit to make sure they get the best staff that they can get. Obviously, they've already got Jamal Walker. You had Orlando Antigua, and they went after two guys that are coveted. They were guys that had offers from other, high majors that wanted to bring these guys in. And it wasn't just, a lot of people are saying, well, now Jamal Walker, it's only because of Jeremiah Tillman. Jamal Walker is much more than just the guy who recruited Jeremiah Tillman. He's a guy who has great connections in that area, and also in Indiana and throughout the state. So, and he's a good coach too. I mean, Brad Underwood didn't. He met with him and they talked and they discussed, and Underwood had to be sold on Walker as well, and he was. After meeting with him and talking to him, so the whole he just was kept because Jeremiah Tillman isn't true, and so I think that sometimes people believe that because they read it sometime, but I think Antigua is just a huge. I mean, it just shows that Illinois is committed to winning, and Josh Whitman and Brad Underwood are going to do what it takes to make sure that Illinois, climbs the Big Ten ladder.
So this roster, as of right now, with the 3 signees joining the 7 current scholarship players, I mean, there's a lot of turnover likely to happen, Brad. And I know Underwood's meeting with his players this week, but I mean, Michael Finke, how do you think of him as the 5? Because, I mean, they obviously got to add one, and they probably will, but he's probably going to have to play a lot of that 5 with LeRon and Kipper at the 4, and they need somebody to step up at the 3 as well, so that's another position in need.
Yeah, I agree. I think you'll see more 3-guard look, and that's where a guy like Mark Smith with his size that could play some 3s that they would love to get. But I think you're going to see Kipper play a lot at the 4. I think honestly they'd like to have another 4, another combo like him, maybe the JUCO kid, from Dodge City. Then you've got, I think Black will play some 5. I know that's not ideal. I think that in this system, though, I don't know that he has the ability to maybe defend and pressure out on the perimeter the way that they're going to want to play. And also, from the high post, I think Finke's connection is that he's going to be a very good like high post passer. The ability to find guys and get him in the high post and where they run the back cuts and different things. And also they'll run pick and pop with him, and because obviously that was effective. And I think you'll have more dynamic guards too with guys like Trent Frazier in there. And if you can add a kid like Mark Smith, and I would not be surprised if there are other guards in play as well that we're going to hear come out in the next few days as well that Illinois is going to go after. So as we go through, as you kind of go through this, I think there's going to be a lot of roster turnover, and so there's a lot of things to be done. But there is definitely there's times they need another big guy, maybe even two. And if they can get a fifth-year guy, or they can get a transfer, I think they would do that. Or if they can find a nice high school kid who is still kind of searching, that may have a connection, I think they would do that. So it's going to be the weird part about it, usually, at this time of year, you're looking onto the 2018 and 19 classes and worried about that. Well,
right.
Now it's a little bit different right now for Illinois. They're looking to bring guys in right now.
I guess it'll be interesting to see if Brad Underwood maybe had some thoughts on a couple of kids that maybe Illinois fans don't even know about. So we'll see what happens there. I do know a lot about Mark Smith, though, Brad, and you mentioned him. Anything new on him, or what are you hearing thoughts-wise on Mark Smith? I know Michigan State gets a visit this weekend. Kentucky, I think, visits this week. It just seems like, I don't know, maybe it's the rainy day and the Tillman news, but it just seems, and I got green on to boot. It just seems doom and gloom right now.
Yeah, and I think that's just how we do it. One school is the one you're talking about because they got the next visit and so forth. But there's no question that Mark Smith really does like Tom Izzo, has a connection, in a short amount of time, and respects him, and I also so I don't think there's any. I think that's true. I mean, I think there's definitely some Michigan State play, and you hope he gets through that visit, and then he maybe comes back. I know Illinois has a lot of people who are pushing Illinois in the Edwardsville area, so I would say that there's not. I don't think it's a done deal. He's not going to go to Illinois, or he's going to go to Michigan State. I think he's still figuring things out. I mean, this is a kid who really didn't get into the recruiting process until the last month. Really. I mean, as far as taking a lot of visits and going to see schools. So this is all new for him. And so he's going to, he wants to go and make sure he makes the right decision. And I hope people respect that and understand that he's got to do what's best for him. And this isn't like the Tillman issue where a kid committed and so forth and so on, and then, made it, pulled out the last minute or signed and then left. I mean, this is a guy who wants to make the best decision he can. And he's going to get all the information that he can about all of his schools.
Where's this rank among crazy recruitments, Brad?
Tillman's right near the. I think he's definitely going to be a chapter in my book. Probably,
yes.
Right up there with the Eric Gordon saga.
Ooh,
so I mean, it's right there.
Does he top Cliff?
All right, my book. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Does he top Cliff?
No.
Okay.
The one thing about Cliff, I think Cliff was more of a one. I mean, yeah, you followed it, but it was like a one. The hat trick really is what made that one special. It wasn't all the drama
yes,
back and forth as you were going through it. I guess there was the fact that he tweeted, Instagram pictures or Snapchat Instagram pictures from Champaign while he tweeted that he wasn't in Champaign. I mean, that was interesting too. But so there's always fun. There's always fun things that go on. But I think Tillman's right up there. I think he'd rank 2 behind the Eric Gordon saga. So. That's where I put it, just because it's been such a long, drawn-out process. And remember how he wasn't going to sign, and then, all this stuff. So it's been very interesting, leaving La Lu, going to East St. Louis. I mean, you go back over the past year, it's been very drama-filled.
Man, we've had Marcus Levet, Jordan Goodwin, Charlie Moore. I mean, this has been a nice little run we've had here. Good stuff.
Quentin Snyder.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
That one in there.
Brian, I'm going to tell you and Jeremy this right now. If you guys each write a book on this stuff, just promise me I get like number 10, the 10th copy, and you both sign it. Okay. And I'll buy it. I will buy this book just to hear all about it, because I don't even know if I want to know about it, but I'll keep remembering. I'll rehash it all. Listen, Brad, this was...
It's the long list of bad memories for a lot of
right. We can just over
John Shire.
Oh, stop it.
Sean Livingston.
All right, Brad, I know this was unannounced. We appreciate your help today, as always. OrangeandBlueNews.com.
Yeah, get a softball game in one of these days, would you?
No doubt.
We actually played yesterday, so it's good. So we're 9-0, so we're on a good string. So.
I mean, of course he is. Yeah. Brad Sturdy just gets it done on the softball field. Brad, thanks, buddy.
All right, hey, thanks for having me, guys. We'll see you.
Good stuff. We appreciate it. Brad Sturdy, OrangeandBlueNews.com. Follow him on Twitter at Sturdy32.
Yeah, coming up later next hour, Derek Piper, Illini Inquirer, will join us at 5:05.
Now, he's in Vegas?
He's in Vegas.
Are we sure he's going to be sober?
He might not be after today's news.
I don't even know if Derek drinks, to be honest with you. So I'm just
but he'll weigh in. He's kind enough to join us on his vacation. I feel bad for him. Did your mic just
I just started moving, so now I'm all
That's why
over.
you watch the YouTube channel. I'm going to watch this again on the replay. But coming up next, Howard Milton, Senior Associate Director of Athletics of Development, joining us in studio to talk about a huge new initiative that the iFund has.
Hey, and there's still some big things. We've had a couple of people text in. I want to just go through this one more time. We had a bus today, 3 buses go down to the Cardinals-Cubs game. That game has been canceled until tomorrow. Are you watching it?
Just saw it on the YouTube page. Oh, it's phenomenal.
And now I'm like the hunchback trying to talk on my microphone. So here's the deal. If you want tickets to tomorrow's game, so if you can go to the 12:45 first pitch Cardinals-Cubs in St. Louis, you got to take your own self in terms of transportation. But we have tickets here at the station. We got up to like 40 or more. So if you want 2, 4, 8, just shoot us a text at 359-2255. That's 359-2255. The tickets are $20 each. You can pick them up at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Here's all we're asking. We're asking you to text in your full name and how many tickets you want, and you can pay us tomorrow at the radio station. This is a great deal, $20 to get into Busch Stadium to watch Cubs-Cardinals tomorrow. Lance Lynn and John Lackey,
there you go,
the former Cardinals. So that's a 12:45 game. If you want tickets to that, just text us 359-2255. Those tickets are $20 each. You can pick them up at 7 a.m. here at the station tomorrow. It is the Tay and J Show.
If you have nothing to smile about, schedule an appointment today at Angel Smiles Dental Center in Rantoul. Turn your frown upside down and show off those beautiful teeth. We all have unique smiles, and we know what it takes to maintain those smiles. After all, a smile is like a personal signature, whether young or old. Maintaining your beautiful smile has never been easier with a visit to Angel Smiles Dental Center. From fillings, crowns, and root canals to dental implants and braces for kids and adults alike, Angel Smiles Dental Center in Rantoul will serve your entire family for all of your dental needs in all stages of life. Angel Smiles accepts the medical card for most services. For those children 20 and under, they accept a number of insurance plans, and they have an in-house dental plan to help people who have no insurance at all. Angel Smiles Dental Center is waiting to see you. Schedule a visit today at Angel Smiles Dental Center in Rantoul. Visit angelsmilesdentalcenter.com. That's angelsmilesdentalcenter.com, or call 892-8868.
328-2424. Tapman's Towing. 24 hours every day. Tapman's Towing. 328-2424. Tapman's Towing. 328-2424. Tapman's Towing. 24 hours every day. Tapman's Towing. We have pull and we're hooked on you. Tapman's Towing.
Racing action is back this Friday night at the Farmer City Raceway in Farmer City, Illinois. It's opening night and the start of the 2017 season. Don't miss the full show. Late models, modifieds, streets, and prolates. General admission is just $12. Kids 12 and under get in free. Veterans get in for $5. At the Farmer City Raceway this Friday night for the start of the 2017 season. The Farmer City Raceway in Farmer City, Illinois, where we'll sell you the whole seat, but you only need the edge.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Durakan from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days, mortgage loans, and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday mornings 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Hello, I'm Austin Berkland with your 430 Sports Center update brought to you by Prairie View Landscaping. Email mypvdiscount@gmail.com for a free quote. You can get up to 25% off your 2017 lawn care through April. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. The long and winding recruitment of Jeremiah Tillman took another huge turn today. The five-star center posted on Instagram that he has asked for his release from his national letter of intent. Tillman committed to Illinois last July, but did not sign his letter of intent until the final day of the fall signing period. Tillman said he signed to play for John Gross, but he and his family want to hear all opportunities and not be stuck in one situation. He said Illinois will remain an option because of assistant Jamal Walker, but Missouri is expected to be a major player for him. Former USF head coach and Kentucky assistant Orlando Antiqua will join Brad Underwood's staff at Illinois as an assistant coach. This is according to Evan Daniels. He joins Jamal Walker as a part of Underwood's inaugural staff here at Illinois. Akron made it official, announcing the hiring of John Gross as its head coach of the Zips. The St. Louis Cardinals fell to the Chicago Cubs last night with a score of 2-1. Wade Davis picked up his first save as a member of the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs scored runs on RBIs from Jason Hayward and Javier Baez. Jake Arrieta pitched a 4-hit, 1-run, 6-strikeout line. Waino of the Cards gave up 3 hits, 2 walks, and 2 runs in 5 innings pitched. Today's game between the Cubs and Cardinals was postponed tomorrow at 12:45. It will be Lackey versus Lynn. Caleb Swanigan, Purdue forward, has declared for the NBA draft but will not hire an agent. He averaged 18.5 points per game and 12.5 rebounds per game for the Boilermakers last year. Former St. Thomas More star Tori McCoy will transfer from the Ohio State Buckeyes. She was named the Big Ten All-Freshman team and led the team in blocks. And guess what? Marshawn Lynch will unretire, according to Ian Rappaport.
All right, thank you, Austin. It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lon Tay, Jeremy Warner. You can always text us on the Cheap Hour text line at 359-2255. You can call us on the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line, same number, 359-2255. Derek Piper joins us at 5:05 next hour. Dan Hartlib, we said, get out of here. We have scratched Dan Hartlib again. We will hear all about this going forward, but hope to have Coach Hartlib on tomorrow. His Illini baseball squad starting to heat up.
We did not move Howard Milton.
We did not.
He's
no,
a big
there's
deal.
certain
Senior
names you don't
Associate
move.
Director of Athletics of Development at Illinois. Howard, thanks for joining us in studio.
It's exciting to be here. Thanks for having us on.
Well, you have some big things going on. I'll just let you announce it to everybody.
We do. I hope everybody's heard of our iFund Challenge. 1,000 new members by July 1. Before I say anything more about that, I want to say to all the folks who have been with us a long time, both you guys, I hope, I know, in the iFund, thank you. Thank you. Before I ask for any more, I always try to make an idea to let folks know how much we appreciate them. Yeah, we've got an initiative that we want to grow this thing, and I know you've had your eye on. We've been a lot in your news quite a bit lately.
Sure.
I guess the message that I would send is this: we mean business.
Okay.
This is personal. We mean business. And to do that, this is not the same old Illinois, man. We're not going to sit on our hands. It's the same place we've all grown to love.
Yep.
With all those wonderful attributes. But there is a key difference. We're in this. This is not for the weak or the timid.
Okay.
We're in this to compete. And to do that, we've got to grow our numbers.
Awesome.
And we sit right now at close to 7,000 members. We want that to be 8,000 members going into next year. And you know what? The year after that, we want to be 9,000 members.
Nice.
We want to get 10,000 members, so on and so forth. So it starts with an iFund challenge. Folks can join the iFund for as little as $50 a year. And you can now, guys. You know you can do much more than that too.
Yeah.
Right? It's America. You get to pick your level, seek your level. But yeah, so we're really wanting you to do that.
Well, it's this simple. Like in football, season tickets, it's $20 to park, and there's normally 6 games. So do the math.
Right.
That's $120. If you donate $100 or even $110 to the iFund, you get a free season parking pass.
You're getting parking benefits.
You're basically giving me money back to park
to get there to tailgate.
To tailgate.
You need to enlist Lon Tay here, Howard. I mean,
we have, and you know what? And Lon made me really happy when he got here because Lon, you said that you're an iFund member, and you are, and you even did the 10% increase.
I did.
That we like our iFund members to do. Yeah, that's just about every year, right?
Well,
and you did that.
I'll do it again next year.
So thank you so much for that. But it does give you an opportunity to get out there and tailgate and go see the games.
Howard, just to keep it simple for everybody that maybe don't know, what is the iFund? What is your function, and how do people get involved?
Yeah, well, the iFund is the unit that I myself, our team oversees. It pays. We generate the revenue for scholarships for our student athletes. So a student athlete that attends the University of Illinois, he or she receives a scholarship, be that in-state or out-of-state tuition.
Okay.
We pay for that. So, we're
pay.
not waiting for the state's budget to pass on that one, man. No. We go over to the registrar and write the check.
You mean you guys are independently funded?
We are independently funded.
The taxpayers do not pay for
you guys
that.
should start every show like that
Yes.
from now through to July. You right?
I try to get that out.
Yeah, right. I love that. That's free pub. We are independently funded. but we are independent, but we depend on a lot of people to help us pay for those scholarships. This is interesting. Josh talks a lot about this. There's a gap, right? So our scholarship bill is about $12 million a year just to pay for scholarships, not to mention the facilities race and all that, just to pay for scholarships. And we generate about 7 of that. So that gap between 7 and 12, we take from our budget. Can you imagine what we could do with that if we could close that gap?
Absolutely.
Then we put that in some recruiting, some other facilities, because, yes, there's a facilities race always in college athletics.
Sure.
Can you think about where Illinois would be? So his charge is, hey, Howard, let's close the gap, man.
Okay.
Well, how do you do that? You get more members and hope that they do 10% more a year, and et cetera. So
I want to ask you about some of the big things you guys are doing. But,
absolutely.
Josh Whitman, you've mentioned that this isn't the same old Illinois.
That's it.
What impact or what kind of vision has Josh Whitman brought that has changed that?
Yeah, a great question. Leadership. I mean, a tremendous leader. And so, and Josh said this, I was fortunate enough to be on the search committee, which was really interesting because that's a guy that was an intern for me years prior. So what I learned through that process, Jeremy, is, I look at the students much different now. I know they can all be my boss one day. And that's what's happened in this case. To be able to articulate a vision from within our department.
Amen.
Right? And have that be a clear vision. But then also there's an accountability piece. And I cut my teeth under Ron Gunther, and Mike had great attributes in terms of professionalism and some other things. Josh is a great mix of both of those things, right? And so this has been tremendous. But it starts with making some tough decisions, right? And then investing in the people, getting good people in place. Like he says, we have a model for this. If you look at golf, if you look at tennis, if you look at some of our Olympic sports,
no
we
doubt.
hire the right people. I'd put Dan Hartlip here too. Who's had a heck of a run. Hire the right people. Give them the right resources, and say no more. We've got trophies to prove that. We've done this, right? Yep. And we've done it with other coaches in some of our other sports as well. So when you talk about Josh, very detailed, but very driven, and has a vision. I hope you've seen that.
It's competitive.
Competitive, yes.
Big
yes.
time. Visiting with Howard Milton, Senior Associate Director of Athletics, in the development side at the University of Illinois. One of those guys, Lovie Smith. Yeah. That's always a nice thing to kind of say, all right, Lovey's coming on board. That did a nice little boost, didn't it? Not only for tickets, I hope it did for the iFund.
It did for the iFund, but you know what? Our marketing guys call this air cover, right?
Okay.
It's just when you have this positive energy out there that I hope that your listeners are feeling right now. You can feel that energy. There's something going on, right? There's a movement. When you have that, it's much easier to go in the room and ask for money. It's much easier for me to stand here, shoulders out, head held high, asking folks to get involved in this, to invest in something that they see as a good investment, maybe in 2 years, a year from now, et cetera, but invest now.
I'm interested, Howard, as a fundraiser. What's kind of your protocol? Because you guys have some big ticket items you're going after.
We do.
How often do you go to people? Like, how do you kind of draw that line of when and how hard and how often?
Yeah. Well, it's the protocols. We each, all of the folks on our team, have a number of visits we're supposed to conduct each month. But, Jeremy, to answer that question, it's about the people and relationships. You hear this all the time. It's about relationships. It's about being able to articulate a message, having a vision. When people know what it is you want and make it clear what you need. I mean, how would people know if they're not iFund members to join in the benefits of that and the need for that unless we tell them?
Sure.
Right? So it's that vision, it's that message. How often it varies on the project, but what we try to do, and I really feel good about our team. We've got a great team of people. They try to use those relationships and match people up with their passions. Yeah. Right? So we don't want, if your passion is funding scholarships and endowing a scholarship, and we're asking you to build a weight room, hey, we're doing our job wrong, right? If you're a good listener, you find out what people are interested in, right? Lon's interested in tailgating, right? Yes. And getting and sitting around the 20 people that he sits around in the football game and loves those relationships on a Saturday afternoon. Let's hope there are more afternoon and night games than there are Saturday mornings. And we're getting there. But right, that's what he's interested in. I heard that, Now it's up to me to say, I know what makes him tick, right?
Yep, that's true.
So you do have these big things going on, State Farm Center. I mean, how much of that is already paid for and done?
Yeah, what we did early on is to get out and we solicited a lot of naming rights gifts. We had some folks, John Giuliani, Giuliani Club, and some others. The majority of that's paid for. I think where we've where we're really struggling is in ticket sales.
Yeah.
You need, all one needs to do is go to the game and look, and you can see that. And that's not just in our general seating area, but in our premium seating area. And so another plug to for the iFund is there's plenty of premium seating left. New coach, new vision. The future's bright. Folks, think about buying some premium seating at State Farm Center, some club seats and some other things.
I know you've got some other questions, Jeremy. We had a simple text come in, and I think it's important, Howard, that we ask this, that how exactly do you become a member of the iFund? So we've got people that have, and I think sometimes we overlook the easy stuff, but I would assume they could go to fightingillini.com and go from there, or what's the easiest way?
You can call. I'm a phone guy now. I'm in my 40s, so I still actually pick up the phone.
Wait, we can't text you and say
push those buttons. I do that. I don't have the big rotary phone at home, but
people are weird now. They don't answer a phone call.
They don't.
What the heck? Oh, wait, it's Howard.
Why are you calling?
I'll call him back.
So let me do this. Let me give you a phone number.
Okay.
Believe it or not, you cannot text this line. 217-333-6595.
Okay.
333-6595. That is the iFund. You can call that number to make contributions. And, of course, there's the good old internet. And I am the iFund.com/1000K. And so what I'd want to say is, folks, come on out there, accept the challenge.
Yeah. I like it.
You also have the football facilities renovation. The arms race is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Is that the biggest thing that's changed as you've been in this fundraising business?
That's right. I mean, you go to these places. We had an awesome tour not long ago with Coach Smith, myself, Josh, Warren Hood, and some members of Coach Smith's staff, us from sports medicine and strength and conditioning. And we went to Clemson's Taj Mahal that they've built.
Yes.
We went to Tennessee. We went to Kentucky.
Wow.
Who just built, and then you can see it is amazing what folks are doing. It's almost mind blowing that what that arms race has become, and we know we got to get in that game. And so that one of our first announcements with the new AD, and actually Mike had identified this too, is we've got to get our infrastructure in place. And so offices, it's not all about for us just the bells and recruiting whistles, albeit that's important. But just practicality, our office space, our dining, our student-athlete sports medicine, I mean, those things have all evolved. So that's certainly, Jeremy, that's one thing. The other thing is there's a lot of if you keep up on NCAA mandates and student-athlete welfare, you're doing some things that you didn't have to do 10 years ago. You're feeding all student-athletes now.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That's a lot of money.
There's been something that said that the practice could start at different times, and so you've got all these legislative kinds of things that are good, but they're costly for the Power 5 institutions.
That's hard to keep up with, too.
And basically, it's like Illinois fans, if you want to be up there, you got to
donate.
Help out. Yeah.
That's the game.
Yeah.
That's the game.
That's
and
exactly right.
we could debate for days on whether it makes any sense or not. I mean, right? I mean, we'll be the first to tell you, we got to get our priorities in line. And I think at Illinois we have. If you look at the progress of our student athletes, if you look at the how we do invest our money, and I'll tell you guys, and I'm proud of folks like Warren Hood, Paul, people on our management team, and I'm proud of our staff that have identified, okay, we can build something. We're going to do that gives us a competitive advantage in terms of football recruiting, et cetera, but it needs to be practical.
Fair enough.
Right? I mean, it needs to match up with the mission of a land grant institution. It needs to match up with who we are.
Sure.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be retina scanned, fountains and slides and all those things. It could be, but it can pop, but be very serviceable and helpful for our student athletes.
I'll just tell everybody, I mean, it's a simple process. And if they can enroll, donate some money, be part of the iFund, then you guys each year send different, you send mailings out to us, which explain the different levels you can get on the iFund. Everything about it is a simple process.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
So I would encourage too. I think it's awesome. And again, like I said, it's a simple process.
You were on the search committee. I'm sure you saw a lot of interesting candidates. Josh, we mentioned him early.
Yes, we
because
did.
I knew he was an impressive guy. We win the press conference. What sold you on him?
That he was able to articulate a vision and he meant it, and that he had a plan. When you interview for something, you want to hear someone that has a plan.
Not just say, we'll do this.
And he had a plan. And there was a person that was sitting on my left and right, and the people that turned and went, and I'm going to mouth this, holy, you guys fill it in. When he walked out of the room, I went, are you kidding me? Because again, Jeremy, I knew him as a former football player that actually, this is a whole other story, that I asked to vacate an office that I was going to take. And so my second thought after holy crap was, oh man, how did I ask him to leave the office that day? This guy's going to get this job. So it's been fun. He's been great.
Well, and a day later, he's got Lovie Smith coming in.
Yeah.
First day on the job.
Yeah, he's been great.
He kind of knows what he's doing. Well, Howard, again, let's give these numbers one more time. If you'd like to join the iPhone, it's 217, of course, 333-6595. Did I get that right?
You did.
6595. And then internet-wise, what is it again?
IamTheIFun.com.
Okay.
IamTheIFun.com.
Okay, so it's simple enough.
Thanks, guys, for all you do. It's hearing you on the radio, you help us stay relevant.
Right.
You do, and that folks, you have something. I listen to you on the drive home, and
we appreciate that.
You do a great job covering not just Illinois sports, obviously, but keeping guys like myself involved and know what happened on the ticker during the day as well. So thanks for all you do.
Thanks, that means a lot to us. That really does. Howard Milton, Senior Associate Director of Athletics on the development side at the University of Illinois. We got Derek Piper at 5:05. And your questions, your calls, your texts at 359-2255. We'll wrap up hour number 2 when we return. It is the Tay and J Show.
Winning can be fun, and we love giving away free stuff, but we want to make sure it's fair for everyone. So here are the rules when competing to win on ESPN 93.5. No purchase necessary. Prize must be collected within 30 days during business hours, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 2702 Boulder in Urbana. ESPN Radio assumes no liability due to circumstances beyond our control, and any prize may be substituted with a prize of equal or greater value. Winners are liable for any taxes, tips, or other miscellaneous charges associated with the prize. All contestants must have a valid ID and social security number. Our judges' decisions are final and reserve the right to end any contest at any time for any reason without notice. In the event that a contestant is found to be ineligible for a prize, said prize will not be awarded. And if you win, we reserve the right to use your likeness or voice on the radio or online, and any winners must wait 30 days to win again. Get a complete list of rules and more information on any contest on ESPN Radio at ESPNCU.com. Those are the rules, and good luck from ESPN 93.5.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
Hi, I'm Sam Banks, inviting you to the Don Moyer Boys and Girls Club 28th Annual Steak and Burger Dinner at the Hilton Garden Inn, Thursday, April 27th. This year's keynote speaker is former Illini basketball great and current Big Ten Network basketball analyst Deion Thomas. Events like the Steak and Burger help kids have a safe place to come after school and find help with homework, participate in activities that encourage positive character and values, and spend time with a positive adult. Buy your tickets or sponsor a table, call 355-KIDS or visit dmbgc.org.
Bunny's Tavern is your home for the 2017 Chicago Cubs. Nothing beats watching baseball over an ice-cold beer, so enjoy $13.50 mix-and-match domestic buckets and $6 PBR pitchers 7 days a week. You'll catch every minute of Cubs action on Bunny's 10 big-screen TVs, whether you're inside or enjoying the largest heated patio in Urbana. So come check out what people in Champaign-Urbana have been whispering about for over 75 years. Bunny's Tavern in downtown Urbana, your home for the 2017 Chicago Cubs.
Save the date for Cunningham Children's Home Festival of Quilts. Friday, April 7th and Saturday, April 8th from 9 to 5 with sponsors like Arby's, Carl, Fertilizer Dealer Supply, and Simtech. Get your business involved now. For details, visit cunninghamohm.org.
Bowl for Kids' Sake is easy as you support the mentoring organization Big Brothers and Big Sisters on March 31st or April 7th from 6 to 8 or 8:30 to 10:30. Sunday, April 9th from 1 to 3 at Old Orchard Lanes in Savoy. BBBSCIL.org for details.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lonte, Jeremy Warner.
I can see where Howard Milton would be pretty good at convincing people.
There are certain people that you meet, and within a minute you realize, yep, I could trust him and I could understand how he's going to get the job done. And I think that's funny what he said, that now the former athlete is his boss.
Yeah.
That is funny that he said, I look at athletes different now.
Just a reminder, we have some extra Cardinals tickets sticking around because the bus trip got canceled today.
Oh, man, that stinks.
So we had a bunch of Cardinals Cubs tickets for tomorrow.
Okay.
That Stevie has that we're selling for $20.
That's it?
You have to pick them up at the studio starting tomorrow at 7 a.m. It's a 12:45 game tomorrow down in St. Louis. Now, you're not going to have transportation. You got to drive yourself, but it's Cubs Cardinals tickets for just $20.
That's, $20 each. That's
so if you got the day
deal.
off tomorrow, you want to take the day off, you can get $20 tickets. You can get as many as you want up till they're sold out. You just got to text us at 217-359-2255. That's 359-2255. I'll say that number again. 217-359-2255. $20 per ticket. Just text your name, how many tickets you want, and we'll get those set aside for you and your name so that you can go to the Cardinals Cubs tickets for a very cheap price of $20.
Talk to your boss and get your whole just shut your office down for a day and get 10 people together.
Come on. 217-359-2255.
All right, good stuff with Howard Milton. Again, we're going to talk with Derek Piper at 5:05, and then the rest of the 5 o'clock hour will be open. A lot to talk about on the assistant side. It sounds like Brad Underwood has at least one assistant in place, and that's Orlando Antigua. I want to focus on this now instead of Josh Tillman. We can talk more about Josh next hour with Derek Piper.
Are you meaning to do that?
Yes, I really am.
Okay.
I really
I
honestly.
didn't know if you didn't screw that up.
No, I really don't want to. Oh, wait, no.
See?
I did say Josh Tillman.
Yes.
Yep, he doesn't. He doesn't
already,
deserve it.
It's already begun.
It's already begun. I've already forgotten you. So next year, when you score 2 against Illinois in the bragging rights,
you kind of strike because you want to say Josh Whitman.
That's my problem. I did that even early in Tillman.
There's only one syllable difference.
I must know another Josh Tillman. There must be an athlete
Is
that
he
played for my
a pitcher.
Maybe
Cleveland Indians. Do they have a Josh?
I don't know that or an Arizona Cardinal.
Josh Tomlin,
maybe. I don't know, but I've done that before. Even when we were recruiting Jeremiah Tillman, I think I called him Josh. But Orlando Antigua. I know a lot of people that maybe weren't listening in the 3 o'clock hour be interested in this. Brad Underwood, of course, needed to fill a staff, and he's gone out and started to add names to this. Of course, Jamal Walker has been retained. Now Orlando Antigua. We know Walker can recruit. We understand that that's kind of his strength. This sounds like Antigua. That is really his strength.
I mean, Orlando Antigua was an assistant under John Calipari at Memphis for a year and then Kentucky for 5 years.
Okay.
He was one of the key recruiters that helped get Anthony Davis out of Chicago, John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, Nerlens Noel, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Julius Randle, Enos Cantor, Eric Bledsoe, Brandon Knight, among others.
Now,
the Harrison brothers.
It helps to be at Kentucky.
Yes.
I do remember that. And it helps to have John Calipari. We understand that.
The other part of this, everyone I've talked to that's a national guy thinks this is a great hire for Illinois, and Kentucky fans are bummed out that they're not going to get him back. But he was fired at South Florida halfway through a 5-year contract. They weren't very good, 23-55 overall, 7-30 during American Athletic Conference play. Now you're not hiring him to be the head coach. That's why you hired Brad Underwood.
Absolutely.
But his program was under investigation by the NCAA for alleged academic fraud. His brother, Oliver, was an assistant, resigned after that investigation was announced. So he does bring a little bit of that baggage here.
Okay.
Which I'm interested to ask Josh Whitman about.
Right.
And Brad Underwood about.
Absolutely.
Does that not stop them? Because Josh Whitman's talked all about integrity and doing things the right way. Well, under his watch, whether it was exactly his fault or not, it's under his watch.
Sure.
That this happened. But if you're talking about recruiter, this guy has a lot of recruiting ties.
Okay.
People that I know a lot of Illini fans don't like the way Kentucky recruits and think they don't do it the right way, but he was a part of that. But I think Kentucky just doesn't have to do that anymore. Even if they started doing that,
they don't.
I don't think they really have to because of all the success they've had, all the one and dones that have gone on to be superstars in the NBA.
He played at the University of Pittsburgh, so you think he maybe would have some ties maybe out east. Of course, he recruited then for Kentucky, and Kentucky's got he could with Kentucky recruit nationally.
It's different recruiting for
without a doubt
than recruiting for Illinois.
No doubt. And I'm sure he was able to touch base with a lot of different places, so that's a bonus. And then, of course, he was down in the Florida area as well. So this is a guy that is unique in the terms of he's got national exposure. And a lot of people everywhere know about him. So that'll be good. They'll bring him aboard. I guess how quick can they get him aboard? I guess soon, to where now if Jeremiah Tillman doesn't come and somebody else maybe leaves this roster, I mean, you need other guys, and that's where Orlando Antigua can get to work now.
Yeah, I mean, it'll probably be, I've heard the support staff will probably be announced later this week.
Okay.
I don't know if the assistants will be announced, but you got Jamal Walker. That deal's done. I know people are like, oh, you're going to bring Jamal now that Jeremiah's here. If you were just keeping Jamal for Jeremiah, I've thought that's wrong all along.
Right.
You keep Jamal because you like him as a coach, you like him as a recruiter and his ties. Of course, Tillman helps.
Sure.
But I've thought all along, you don't keep a coach just for one recruit.
Right.
But Illinois will go forward with those two. And the other name I've heard a lot, and I expect him to be the third guy, is Chin Coleman.
Okay.
He coached at Bradley, coached at UIC, currently at UIC, has Chicago ties. I don't know if he's a big upgrade over Paris Parham. I don't even know.
Okay.
Because he hasn't proven at that level.
Got it.
He recruited Josh Cunningham to Bradley, which is a big get for Bradley. Now, he transferred after a year after the coaching change. But he was on Tim Miles' staff. I know Tim Miles had opportunities to hire Chin as an assistant and never did. Now, maybe he should have, given where Tim Miles is right now, but I think it would be a solid third hire.
Okay.
It'd be an interesting staff of Jamal Walker, who is under Gross.
Yes.
Orlando Antigua, who comes from John Calipari. And Chin Coleman, who's, kind of like Parham, rising through the ranks, a guy out of Chicago. None of them have coached under Underwood.
No.
None of them have coached together.
That is interesting.
So it's kind of a hodgepodge of a staff.
It's completely different from the last staff where John Gross brought all of his guys with him.
Now, maybe,
so that could be good or bad.
Maybe it's good. Maybe it's bad. But Underwood, obviously, everyone thinks he's a great
new
coach.
ears, new eyes in a room.
X's and O's coach, right? That's his strength.
Yes.
He obviously is focused on recruiters with his staff, and we'll see how that works out. But now Brad Underwood, without Tillman, fighting for Mark Smith.
No
and
doubt.
I don't like where the Illini stand in that one right now, but we'll see. Maybe they can pull this thing off. We'll see what Brad Underwood can do.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a little bit more of a rebuild, but that's why you brought him in. You have faith in him.
We're
right?
going to see real quick how good of a recruiter he is. And it's not
and
really
staff.
fair to him with being so far behind the eight ball here with the rest of this class, but we'll see. Are you shocked at all that there is a Chicago connection on the staff?
No.
It seemed like for a bit, maybe that
I don't know if they needed it. I don't know if they needed it.
Right.
But obviously Underwood thinks it's part of it. I mean, if this goes down, I expect Chin Coleman to join this staff. Things can always change.
Well, sure.
We'll see if that becomes official. But I think most people think you need some kind of tie there. I don't think you need to go all out.
I hear you.
For Chicago. And I think Antigua and Walker obviously has a lot of connection to the St. Louis area that has a lot of talent coming up, including E.J. Liddell out of Belleville West. And then Antigua gives you a more national guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got ties in the East Coast, down south. Right?
Everywhere.
Yeah, so I think that gives you a little bit more national guy.
If you're one of those people that sneak out of work just a tad early and you just got in your car and you're turning us on, the big news today, if you didn't happen to hear, Jeremiah Tillman has been asked out of his letter of intent. He's asking to get out of the letter of intent. The speculation among many is that he'll wind up at Missouri. Conzo Martin, of course, putting the heat on him. You can think what you want. I know a lot of you are not happy with it. I'm not either. But it is what it is, and this is the ability when a coach leaves that a player then asks out of his letter of intent, and normally the school says yes, that's fine.
And when it comes to Tillman, it feels like he's always had one eye somewhere else.
I agree
throughout this entire process, and you're allowed to do what you want to do.
Yeah,
right. It's a recruit, make the decision you want to make. But obviously, it's going to leave a lot of bad blood with Illini fans. But I don't think you ask out of your national letter of intent. And,
if you're going to come to
Illinois.
Go
back to that school.
Agree.
That's a rarity.
But if he ends up at Akron, then I'm going to just absolutely speak accolades about Jeremiah Tillman. Now I'm going to say, you know what?
Get him, Gross.
He was loyal. He was loyal to John Gross, not Jamal Walker.
By the way,
Illinois.
John Gross has an event tomorrow on the Starbucks stage.
Oh, he does.
How fitting is that?
Oh, that's
at Akron.
How hyper is he going to be?
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, Derek Pipers leads us off next hour. Your calls and texts as well. It is the Tay and J Show.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy. The sounds of spring and the smell of flowers in the air, they all add up to Spring Green, America's neighborhood lawn care team. That lush green lawnscape is a result of a reputation earned through consistent performance. They become your favorite through quality service and professionalism. Spring Green will service and maintain your lawnscape with seeding, aeration, fertilizing, weed reduction, disease, and insect control. Now the ease and trouble-free convenience of Spring Green's professional lawn care's full program is yours at savings of 20% for new customers. It's backed by their guarantee of satisfaction. Over 32 years of satisfied customers reflect their commitment to Champaign-Urbana and the Mattoon-Charleston area. Call Spring Green at 217-359-2111 or online at spring-green.com at 217-359-2111.
Daniel Tosh is going back to school. Tosh Point Show on campus.
Well, hello there, young people. You are our future. But more importantly, you are my future. So buy tickets to the Tosh Point Show on campus. You've already wasted your parents' money on tuition. What's a few more bucks for tickets? I promise it will be worth it. Maybe.
April 16th at State Farm Center in Champaign. Tickets are on sale now at statefarmcenter.com or the venue box office.
This is Eric Bolin with Provident Financial Group. Are you sure you're on track to reach your retirement goals? Wondering how much money you'll need to last your lifetime? Whether you're retiring in a few weeks or a few years, we can analyze your needs and create a plan that's right for you. Find us online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com. Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network.
Provident, partnerships built on trust.
Member FINRA, SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Hey, it's me, your old AC. We need to talk, man. I am out of hair. Trust me. It's not going to get much better. I need to be replaced. Call the experts and get a new air conditioner that will save up to 50% on energy bills. Go ahead. Do it. I'll be right here. Whew.
At Chief Bauer Service Experts, save up to $4,000 on a new home comfort system. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit chiefbauer.com. For expert service guaranteed.
Call 866-EXPERTS.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
I'm Kathleen Maloney.
Their deaths was an affront to humanity.
President Trump speaking about the dozens of people, including children, who were killed in a chemical gas attack in Syria.
And I will tell you, it's already happened, that my attitude toward Syria and Assad has changed very much.
The president says Syrian President Assad has crossed many lines with that chemical attack on innocent people. The United Nations Security Council held an emergency meeting to talk about the attack.
Russia cannot escape responsibility for this. In fact, if Russia had been fulfilling its responsibility, there would not even be any chemical weapons left for the Syrian regime to use.
UN Ambassador Nikki Haley also calling on the member nations to take action against Syria. The stage is set for a showdown in the Senate tomorrow over the president's Supreme Court nominee.
Republican leaders are ready to trigger what's called the nuclear option, a rule change used in 2013 by Senate Democrats to lower the threshold from 60 votes to a simple majority to advance nominees.
I rise this afternoon to entreat my friend, the majority leader, to step back from the brink.
Democratic leader Chuck Schumer has the votes to block Neil Gorsuch if rules stay the same, a filibuster Republicans call unprecedented.
I will vote to change the rules and allow Judge Gorsuch to be confirmed by a simple majority.
A vote Arizona Republican John McCain says he'll cast with reluctance, worried about undermining Senate traditions.
Fox's Jared Halpern on Capitol Hill. The markets closed lower, the Dow dropping 41 points, S&P losing 7 points, NASDAQ down 34 points. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
In your business, you trust people who time and time again get the job done. At Indeed.com, we deliver 5 times more hires than any other job site, according to independent research. That's why over 3 million businesses use Indeed when they're hiring. Because getting the job done matters. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Here's a little ditty about that John Deere mower deck that mows faster, better. It's not how fast you mow, my friends, it's how well you mow fast. If you just mow fast but your yard looks bad, then you got a lot of ugly grass. You need a John Deere to take care of your yard. You need a Z-Track Z3 45R. It's not how fast you mow, my friends, it's how well you mow fast. The XL deck's got more capacity for yards like yours that get to grassity. Want to mow well in a higher gear? See a John Deere dealer, nothing runs like a deer.
Security, the main topic at a Senate Homeland Security hearing. Senator Claire McCaskill brought up President Trump's often repeated promise to build a wall on the border with Mexico.
It's embarrassing. It's not going to happen. Everybody in Congress knows it's not going to happen. Every Republican knows it. Every Democrat knows it.
Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly defending the idea of that wall.
What it'll look like, how tall it will be, how thick it will be, what color it will be is yet to be determined. All we know is that physical barriers do work if they're put in the right places.
Kelly also pointing out that there's been a sizable drop in the number of migrants coming out of Mexico and Central America. Just over 12,000 people were caught at the southern border in March, the lowest monthly figure in years. A Chicago woman claims she was attacked during an Uber ride in January.
Jennifer Camacho says that she was picked up by an Uber pool, which Julie Raymer was already riding. When, according to Camacho's attorney Bryant Greening, Raymer drew a 3-inch blade and slashed her multiple times in the face.
She did not say anything to Ms. Raymer. She did not offend Ms. Raymer. And Ms. Raymer was angry for whatever reason and took that anger out on Ms. Camacho.
Camacho is now suing both the ride-sharing company for negligence and Raymer for assault and battery, totaling over $150,000 in damages. However, Uber claims that it is not liable because the altercation was between two passengers. Raymer denies any wrongdoing. Anna Eliopoulos, Fox News.
More than 10% of drivers for Uber and Lyft in Massachusetts have failed required background checks. State records show the largest number were turned away because of license suspensions or serious driving offenses. More than 300 had felony convictions and 51 were registered sex offenders. Uber says the state background process is too strict. I'm Kathleen Maloney, Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast. What?
My kids are bugging me.
It's good seeing Lucas in here.
No, they're just bugging me. He goes, I smell candy. Do you have Starburst?
And he smelled it out?
And I had 2 in my pocket, and he just stole them.
That's a Tay gene right there.
It's so strong.
If you pass down anything to your kids,
that's it.
It's the looks and that.
I don't know how we are halfway thin with as much candy and crap that we eat on a daily basis.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast, brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts. Keep you comfortable all year long. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Occasional rain continues for the next several hours. A low of 36 tonight. Thursday, mostly sunny, high 52. A low of 34. Friday, a little warmer, sunny, high 56, a low of 36. When Derek Piper comes home, it'll be sunny, clear 60s and 70s.
Everything works for him, doesn't it?
Right now, rainy and 49 in Champaign-Urbana.
Is Derek Piper sober? All right, so you and I, before we get to pipes, does anybody else call him pipes? Is that starting to work? Probably not.
There's a hashtag pipe bomb.
Pipe bomb? I don't want to call him that. That seemed...
That's violent.
That was kind of a thing to do back in the day, it seemed like. All right, so we, the interns, and all of us were sitting... Well, I don't mean it like that. Everybody kind of stared at me. I'm like, well, I think people used to use pipe bomb, but yeah, I'm going to move on. So we sat here...
Terrorists over there?
I know, Well, I just haven't heard about a pipe bomb for a while, so that's good that that's kind of faded away. Kind of like the Molotov cocktail there for a while.
I heard about that for a while.
All right, so here...
Anyways,
let's move on. So I was sitting here and somebody asked, I don't know if it was Lucas or somebody said, well, can we just not let him out of his letter of intent? No. And you started explaining it. And I think Tyler was like, well, why don't we just not let him out? And I'm like, you know what? It's time for Illinois to turn the table on these kids. You know what? No.
Yeah, and I was like,
you want out, then you transfer and you skip a year.
Yeah, screw those 18-year-olds.
Exactly, because you know what? If you're not going to come here anyway, I had to turn my mic off because my microphone's trying to come at me and punch me. All right, but that's not going to happen. Illinois is going to let him out.
If your complete release is denied, the penalty would be you lose 1 year of competition in all sports.
Take that.
and you must serve 1 year of residence at your next. So you'd transfer, and you wouldn't have 4 years to play. You'd have 3.
Okay.
So that's what would happen. You could feel better about that with Jeremiah Tillman?
What do you think of those? What do you think of those marbles?
Would you feel better about that? Would you feel better about yourself?
No, I wouldn't. I honestly wouldn't.
All right, let's get to the Jupiter's Crossing phone line. Don't forget their pizza of the month, Caprice Pizza. He's Derek Piper, IlliniInquirer.com. Oh, no, not this song.
Yep.
So,
no, he's not.
Bro's gonna get some.
No.
Bro's gonna get some.
No.
4 and 5
Got some 4s.
He got a couple of 2s.
Maybe an Akron.
Recruits now. A lot of hoops now. With Derek Piper.
Derek Piper, I'm coming out strong. Are you sober?
I think I'm more sober than you when you're talking about pipe bomb.
Well said.
Derek,
well done.
Is it sunny and nice out in Vegas?
You know, it's 76. They got some old school Taylor Swift in the background sitting by the pool. My girlfriend's in the pool of the Corona, and I'm here talking to you guys.
I know.
Your poor girlfriend.
I do
is
feel
like,
bad for this, Derek, and I when the news broke, I felt really bad for you because it's like, I hope you're enjoying the vacation. Yes. But your reaction, your reaction to the Jeremiah Tillman news.
It's frustrating. I think that's the sentiment obviously Illinois has got to be feeling right now. When you go from having that in-home visit with Jamal and Brad Underwood, and the family tells you, all is good. We really like the new coach. We're on board. You held up your end by keeping Jamal, and there's nothing to worry about. And the family and people around that have echoed those sentiments to me. Have said, no worries about Mizzou. We'll see them at the bragging rights game. Everything like that. This whole time you had heard stuff around the recruitment, people around the situation who said maybe you want to look out for this. And obviously Missouri's been working hard, and they're probably not the only ones who are putting some words in some other people's ear. But to have this happen is just going back on what you said directly to their face, the loyalty piece, the commitment piece, obviously, and the signed letter of intent. So. Not a good day for Illinois when you're potentially putting a 5-star big man back on the market.
Is it dirty if Conzo Martin was just kind of hanging around and talking to him? I know it's legal.
I don't think he was talking to Jeremiah.
Oh, okay.
That's what's
to everybody
illegal,
else.
But you can talk to everybody else.
Is that considered dirty is what I'm asking.
Okay.
Once that a recruit has committed to a school and signed, is it considered dirty, if you will?
There's a lot of dirty that goes on in recruiting. He asked Bruce Weber in terms of his Eric Gordon situation. He probably would tell you that. But Conzo wasn't talking to Jeremiah. He maybe said, hey, what's up at the school if he saw him, and there's nothing wrong with that. But he can talk, to the high school coach, the AAU coach, his uncle, anything like that. And all of that definitely happens. Let's be honest. And that's kind of the business side of this whole deal where, a lot of people around these kids want to get involved in these things. And they want the attention, and they want people who's saying, let's make you a part of this decision. And that's the tough part, and that's the hard part for Illinois, who's already been through this in November when he was committed and he was a little hesitant to sign. And all that madness is going down. You heard about SLU, you heard about Kansas, and more people were getting involved. Ultimately, Mom really wanted him to go to Illinois, and he bought into that again and signed his letter of intent. But here we go again with more people in his ear, and now Michael Porter's at Mizzou, and it's gonna be wild again.
Do you think there's any chance he could sign with Illinois or stay with Illinois?
I do, yeah. I've been in contact with his mom. Mom still wants Illinois. Mom is still president of the Jamal Walker fan club, and as long as he's there, I think that Mom's gonna have that pull because she went out again. She wanted him to commit to Illinois back in March or March 2016. It took him a couple of months to actually go through with it. She wanted him to sign. He ended up doing that. So she still has that big pull. I think that this is going to be tougher because there's going to be frustration on that Illinois side, especially for Jamal. Understandably with Brad, he doesn't have that same relationship, but even Jeremiah said, my relationship's more with Jamal than John. So I think Jamal can win out. I think his mom can win out again. But once again, there's a lot of other factors. If he does want to take other visits, let it open the door for more people. This can get wild again, and then you never know what's going to happen.
I just want to put this out there. Derek will ask you about it in a second, but it is official. Illinois has hired Orlando Antigua as an assistant coach. It is official. I just got word of that. So we'll ask you about that here in a second. But if they lose Tillman, Derek, what does this mean for this roster moving forward? What does it mean for the class of 2017 and possible options there?
Well, yeah, for the class in general, obviously it takes it down a notch when you're sitting at number 9 right now and trying to add Mark Smith to make this a primetime class, the best class in the Big Ten. But from the need standpoint, this would be a huge loss. You're thinking he's going to come in and be your starting 5-man, and your backup 5 is Michael Binke, and that's probably not even his natural position. So that really hurts, and you're so late in the game, especially these type of deals can really burn some schools when they, some other options aren't out there. I know, Mayan Keir's out there now that Will Wade isn't at VCU anymore, so maybe look at him. I know he was concerned about playing backup to Jeremiah Tillman, so there's an interesting dynamic there, although Dustin Ford was the lead recruiter for him. So that would put Illinois in a tough spot, especially at the 5. I know you want to look at that fifth-year market, and they're planning to do that anyway, but there are no guarantees. And you're sitting there with a 5-star, just missed the McDonald's All-American game, and if you lose him, he's the highest-rated recruit you've had since Steve Brown. So that'd be a big-time blow.
How big of a blow is it in terms of next season? I think we all thought, and we're not just saying this now because Tillman wants out of his national letter or his letter of intent, and if he wouldn't have said that and we would have talked about the same thing, we would have talked about him being all Big Ten. How big is it next year with regards? Is it just simply depth for number 1?
I think it hurts. I know me and Jeremy have had the conversations about what are you adding or losing compared to Maverick Morgan in terms of Jeremiah Tillman, and obviously Mav was a very efficient scorer and a guy that really developed his back-to-the-basket game. I just love the fit of Jeremiah and Underwood's system, being a mobile 5 guy that can run up and down the floor, run to the rim, set screens, offensive rebound. That's something that his programs have done really, really well. So I think Jeremiah would have done pretty well in that system next year and really year 2. That's the one that you're really missing because he could be a star. He could be one of the best big guys in the Big Ten that year and one of the best players in the Big Ten as a year 2 guy. So I think when you look at that sample size, then it really hurts. But even next year, I just feel like his fit would work out so well in that system.
Derek Piper, our guest. You can follow him on Twitter at DPiperScout. I almost hate, after the news at Tillman, to even ask you about Mark Smith, but I know Michigan State gets a visit this weekend. Kentucky's calling. Anything new on Mark Smith? And I know you feel still like Illinois could have a shot at Tillman. I assume you still feel like Illinois could possibly do that with Smith as well, correct?
I do, although this is bad timing for this.
Right.
Jeremiah was a big sell for Mark, and he wanted to play with Jeremiah. I know he had said that he wanted to play for Coach Gross, and he likes that class, but playing with Jeremiah was a big-time selling point to Mark, coming in with him, and obviously a really good big guy is a point guard's best friend. So, and things have gotten a lot tougher now that Michigan State's come in with an offer, really impressed in the in-home visit. He kind of took some time off in the recruiting process over the weekend, getting ready to charge back up here tomorrow with Kentucky coming in for an in-home visit. They might offer. That's something to watch. I had heard that Illinois, there's a good chance they'll be in tomorrow to see him. And then over the weekend, it sounds like he's going to go to East Lansing. And I would imagine that's an official visit. I know it hasn't been confirmed yet. So, but anytime that you get a guy going to a campus like that for a weekend with Tom Izzo and some of the guards that he's developed and seeing some Final Four banners, that gets scary. So this one is trending in a bad way for Illinois. I think they're still in there. But with the way, the timing of this Jeremiah Tillman thing and then the way that Michigan State's kind of surged on, that makes Illinois pretty nervous right now.
What do you think of Orlando Antigua, a former John Calipari assistant from USF? Didn't have any success as a head coach, and there's an academic fraud scandal there. But what do you make of him as a lead recruiter and assistant for Illinois?
Yeah, there are those red flags in terms of the academic fraud and under investigation at USF. But in terms of being an assistant and being a talent getter, as you say, and someone you want to be able to go get primetime talent and for Underwood to coach, he's really, really good. I mean, look at his resume, some of the guys that he's able to get when he was at Kentucky, Anthony Davis, John Wall, the list goes on and on. Obviously, Kentucky sells itself. But just a guy that's been around the recruiting scene, knows it really well, knows how to get kids, develop those relationships. I think it's a nice hire. And I think that with Brad, the whole question has been, can he get the right talent in his system and have assistants that can go out and win those recruiting battles, because Brad, as we know, is a really good coach, gets the most out of his kids. You just need a couple of guys that can go out and get you talent, and this guy is a proven talent getter.
So if they don't get Tillman and Smith, Derek, we discussed this before. Illinois missed on three of the best talents we've seen out of downstate Illinois in a while.
Yeah.
And I think that this is more of a rebuilding job. Now, I think it's a tough job to win next year in this Big Ten. So what's this mean long term, do you think, for Brad Underwood?
Yeah, it's just a tough way to come in. I know there was the risk of this when you fired John Gross. But right away, after the in-homes with, you kept DeMonte, you kept Trent, you kept Javon. It sounded like you're keeping Jeremiah. You're making good headway with Mark Smith, and it heard that it was, they were really impressed with what they saw and what they heard, and they're hitting the home. So to go from that, and I know the Jordan Goodwin loss burned, but like you said, to have that talented of a group downstate, I mean, those are really, really good impact right away players. And you're in your home state, and you got a new coach. Maybe it affects how quickly Brad can get this thing on the right track. If you don't get Jeremiah, if you don't get Mark, I think it is more of a rebuild in terms of hitting the ground running and having immediate success.
Derek, I don't know if you're a big gambler. Did you put any money on anything down there? Any action?
I put money on the Cardinals game last night, and I lost that, unfortunately. I don't know why. I thought they could win 2 in a row against the Cubs. But I did win about $200 on the blackjack table.
Look at that! Look at that! Are you one of those high rollers? You let it ride, or you just take that $10?
I bought in at 20, and I ended up winning 200, so I was just pretty lucky.
Look at that guy!
There you go.
All right, well, Derek Piper sitting by the pool. Is your girlfriend? Is she just now not even looking at you, avoiding you? She just swam off with her Corona
out there with her sunglasses on.
Okay. I sent you a text. Can you look at your text right now or no?
I can't. I will right after the show.
All right. I texted Piper. I said, you should totally act like you're ordering a Fireball before we finish the interview. That would be so funny.
Derek, enjoy the rest of the vacation, man. I know this has been stressful, and it probably wasn't a good way to wake up in Vegas, but we appreciate it, man.
Always fun talking to you guys.
See you, buddy. Derek Piper, we do appreciate that because I think we all hate being bugged on vacation, but it's part of everybody's job sometimes.
Huge story. Yeah.
It is that
he's been all over. And it's frustrating for him when he's hearing from, the Tillman family that,
right.
That
mom is all in.
We're in after the Underwood meeting. We're in. We're not going anywhere. But everyone wants to focus on the kid. And yes. I get it. He's the one making a decision, putting it out there. When you have big time recruits,
right,
that have so many people in their ears because they all want part of this action, right? When they have so many different people in their ears, it's not just him.
No,
he's influenced by people. There are influencers everywhere. Whether it's Cliff Alexander, all these kids. Imagine you yourself as a 17, 18-year-old, who's this big wanted commodity, and you are worth millions of dollars.
Well,
to
most
somebody.
of us can't. Right. Most of us can't imagine
and I understand it. Your word should mean something.
Right. No, I agree.
It should mean something, but there are people around them who are saying, don't worry about that, right?
Yeah.
Get you. Do what's best for you.
It would be interesting.
And I think kids should do what's best for them.
Sure.
But when you go against your word and all this time, it leaves a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. And
it's frustrating. And like you think back to like the Cliff Alexander that kind of rubbed it in your face with picking up your hat.
Yep.
Putting it back down. That was a move that I thought, you know what, go ahead and rip on the kid. I honestly did.
Yeah, that was not.
That was a move to where you're like, okay, now this with Jeremiah Tillman.
He's obviously an immature kid.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That was immature
exactly.
kid.
This is a kid that decided, you know what, my coach, the one that I wanted to play for, whether you believe that or not, is not there anymore. Everything's changed.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm going to work on Brad Underwood's system.
It's kind of weird that during his signing ceremony, he talked all about Jamal Walker.
Exactly.
And now he says John Gross.
Yeah. And now
something's changed, and it's at Mizzou wants you, SLU wants you. There's a huge coaching change.
It'll be interesting
and
to see how
Mark
many of the
Smith
Blue Bloods
and Jordan Goodwin aren't going with you. Right?
That's exactly right. And it'll be interesting to see if a Kentucky or someone like that jumps in on this immediately into the fray as well. Hey, we had to skip drive time to get Derek Piper on, but we want to always thank for a wide selection of new and used vehicles. Check out Honda BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash and Savoy, and online at drivechampaign.com. They are sponsors of Drive Time.
If you want to weigh in, you can. 359-2255. That's 217-359-2255. We got some news on the golf scene.
Oh.
One of the stars of golf had a little injury.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we'll talk about that coming up. But this is your chance. If you want to weigh in on Jeremiah Tillman, Orlando Antigua, you can. 359-2255. That's 217-359-2255.
And news of some Cardinals tickets against the Cubs tomorrow. You want to be listening to that when we come back. It is the Tay and J Show.
150 years. Years full of success and defeat. Research and setbacks. Learning and teaching. The University of Illinois has transformed in numerous ways over the last 150 years, and we want to celebrate. Game Day Spirit Fan Stores is now offering 150th apparel in stores and online. These are available in limited quantities, so visit one of their stores today on Green Street or South Neal in Champaign, or head to GameDaySpirit.com anytime to get your polo, quarter zip, or t-shirts now. Go Illini!
Bunny's Tavern is your home for the 2017 Chicago Cubs. Nothing beats watching baseball over an ice-cold beer, so enjoy $13.50 mix-and-match domestic buckets and $6 PBR pitchers 7 days a week. You'll catch every minute of Cubs action on Bunny's 10 big-screen TVs, whether you're inside or enjoying the largest heated patio in Urbana. So come check out what people in Champaign-Urbana have been whispering about for over 75 years. Bunny's Tavern in downtown Urbana, your home for the 2017 Chicago Cubs.
Spring into your new home with Busey. With free pre-qualifications, you can search for the perfect house knowing all of your options. From a new pool to that amazing new patio, let our award-winning team of associates make your dream of home ownership a reality. Visit Busey.com to apply in minutes or stop by one of our many convenient locations today. Busey, your dream, our promise. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Our Stevie J Broadcasting Law Enforcement Official of the Month is Brian Malik from the Champaign County Sheriff's Department. You always have to be keyed up. Do you have to go into a situation knowing anything can happen here and I got to be really on it?
It's always got to be in the back of your mind, but you also have to learn to go into a situation and be even keeled and not expect the worst to happen. But it's always in the back of your mind that something could happen. But if you go in there at 100, obviously some people don't really appreciate that, and that's understandable.
Well, you can just tell by your demeanor, you really want to help folks kind of figure this out. And as one of your other deputies told me, it's, they're not having their best day.
Yeah, most people, when they call for the sheriff's office, most of the time they're having a very bad day. And you show up and you try to do your best to make their day a little better. Doesn't always work, but you're doing your best to make it happen.
Brought to you by SK Exteriors. Their website, callsktoday.com.
Your four-legged friends need protection too. Pet insurance from Pekin Insurance covers cats and dogs at least 6 weeks of age or older as an enhancement to your homeowner's coverage. Choose between $2,500 or $5,000 worth of coverage for a variety of pet health services. You can even take your pet to the veterinarian of your choice. Learn more at PekinInsurance.com or ask your local agent about how to protect your furry family members. For pet insurance that is beyond the expected, contact Pekin Insurance today.
Hi, it's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted metals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
It is the Tay and J Show. I've been in a stare down. I'm trying to make myself mad today because of this Tillman news. Yeah. And I'm mad, don't get me wrong. I had my moments before I came on the air where I maybe said a few things, screamed a few things in the truck on the way up, but then I thought it's time to be professional now. But what I've done all day is just stared at Harry, Austin, and Tyler and just absolutely gave them the look of like, I'm not happy with any of you. And I don't think, is it working? Do I sound mad?
I think you're frustrated.
Okay. I sound kind of frustrated. Well, good. It's working then. I like this. All right. Cardinals baseball tickets.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing I'm frustrated about is because I thought today was going to be an easy hour-and-a-half show.
Yep.
I'm otherwise the laziest guy you'll ever meet. I wanted to come in for an hour and a half, do nothing.
Jeremy, what are we talking about?
Right. No. We got Mike Small. That'll eat up 20 minutes of that. This is perfect. Instead, the weather rains out Cubs Cardinals. And actually, to be honest with you, now the game is at 12:45 tomorrow. We have some tickets here at the station, but we are selling these. We're not giving these away.
Yeah, we had a big bus trip going down today, 3 buses full, so we got a bunch of tickets for tomorrow.
Yes.
We're selling them for $20 a piece.
Yes.
$20 for tickets tomorrow, 12:45 game time, Cardinals Cubs. Not going to find a much better deal.
No.
Just looking to recoup some of that back, but
Right.
giving you a great deal of $20. All you have to do is text your name and how many tickets you want to 359-2255. That's 217-359-2255. Your name, how many tickets you want to 359-2255, and then you'll pick them up tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
We're open
starting
at
at
7 a.m.
Right.
And just bring cash. I'm guessing a check.
Yeah, I'm sure any kind of,
cash and
not
check.
a card.
Yeah, I doubt a credit card. So
Not a
cash
card.
or a check.
Yep.
And you can get those tickets and pick them up.
And we are right across from Meyer on Windsor Road in Urbana. I think it's 2702 Boulder, South Boulder Drive. So if you get a chance to come and if you can go down tomorrow for the Cub Cardinal game, it's John Lackey making his return to St. Louis for a second straight year, of course, and Lance Lynn. So a guy that didn't even pitch last year, you get a chance to see Lance Lynn with the Cardinals. So take advantage of that. Good prices all around. All right, if you want to weigh in, 359-2255. It's time for...
Hello, I'm Austin Berkland with your 5:30 SportsCenter update brought to you by Prairie View Landscaping. Email mypvdiscount@gmail.com for a free quote, and you get up to 25% off your 2017 lawn care through April. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. The long and winding recruitment of Jeremiah Tillman took another huge turn today. The five-star center posted on Instagram that he has asked for a release from his national letter of intent. Tillman committed to Illinois last July, but did not sign his letter of intent until the final day of the fall signing period. Tillman said he signed to play for John Gross, but that he and his family want to hear all opportunities and not be stuck in one situation. He said Illinois will remain an option because of assistant Jamal Walker, but Missouri is expected to be a major player for him. Former USF head coach and Kentucky assistant Orlando Antiqua will join Brad Underwood's staff at Illinois as an assistant coach. This is according to Evan Daniels. He joins Jamal Walker as a part of Underwood's inaugural staff. Akron made it official announcing the hiring of John Gross as its head coach for the Zips. The St. Louis Cardinals fell to the Chicago Cubs last night with a score of 2-1. Wade Davis picked up his first save as a member of the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs scored runs on RBIs from Jason Hayward and Javier Baez.
You cheated.
How did I cheat?
I don't know how, but you cheated.
That's some big accusations here.
I think you forced Randall Grichuk to throw the ball home instead of third. And if he would have thrown it to third, kept the guy at second, yeah, you cheated.
Paid him off.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all.
I think it's obvious.
The Missouri, it's in Missouri, you know.
Right.
Yes!
Oh, well done.
And Torrey McCoy is transferring from Ohio State, and Caleb Swanigan's joining the draft without hiring an agent.
Okay.
And that, my friends, is the SportsCenter update.
And Marshawn Lynch is
unretiring.
All right. Look at that. All the years that Jeremy Warner did the update, and I never listened.
Now you're listening.
And then Austin does it, and now I've heard that Marshawn Lynch is unretiring. So how about that? All right, it's the Tay and J Show, 359-2255. You can text the Chief Bauer text line or call the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line.
If you want to weigh in, 359-2255. It's your chance. Jeremiah Tillman asked out of his letter of intent. What does this mean for Brad Underwood, Mark Smith, next year's roster, and Orlando Antigua, former John Calipari assistant in Kentucky, who recruited some superstars to Kentucky. He's now part of the staff. It is official. Illinois about to send out the press release, but it is official. The deal is done. He'll join Jamal Walker on Brad Underwood's staff.
We have had a few texts today at 359-2255, and I've had a few on my phone. People saying, did Illinois make the wrong hire? Should Illinois have hired Conzo Martin?
What is more important? Landing Jeremiah Tillman for a guy who's had 2 first-round talents, 2 All-Americans,
and didn't make the
All-Americans,
tournament.
and Charlie Moore.
Right.
and has not had a lot of success.
Right.
Or a coach who's took over some programs that Oklahoma State had some talent. Jawan Evans is a good talent.
Sure.
Stephen F. Austin led them to all that success.
Yes.
Konzo didn't do that at Missouri State.
Nope.
He didn't do that at Tennessee. He made a Sweet 16 that 1 year.
He did 1 year.
And then at Cal, he didn't do much.
No, he didn't.
Right? So I get it. These guys he's going to get players. We've said that since he was hired.
No
he
doubt.
is going to get guys. And Michael Porter Jr. is probably going to be the number 1 pick of next year's draft.
Exactly.
He's going to be ridiculously good. But are they going to make the tournament next year?
I don't know.
I don't think Jeremiah Tillman is going to be all that great next year. I think Mav Morgan this year was better than Jeremiah Tillman was going to be his freshman year.
Got it.
I know that's weird for people because they see the rankings. Right. But Mav was a very productive player.
And if
they do different things.
Exactly.
But if Jeremiah gets to year 2 at a school, I think he's going to be pretty good.
I agree.
And that's a player you're really going to want. You're going to need to make a run in contention for the Big Ten. Give me the guy who can coach. And that's why he hired Orlando Antigua.
Yep.
Right? To go get me players.
Absolutely.
But this head coach has a great track record. Konzo Martins it's longer.
Enough.
I'll give him that. It's a longer track record as a head coach. But we kind of know what he is, and it's okay.
Yeah.
At best.
Brad Underwood's 4 for 4. 4 years coaching, 4 NCAA trips.
And Konzo Martin's 2 for 9.
Wow. All right, let's go to the Jupiters, the Crossing phone line. Cyrus, our old buddy, is on the horn. How you doing, Cyrus?
Hey there, I've got 2 questions. The first one is, can we kind of understand that a lot of this stuff that has happened recently is not Jeremiah Tillman's fault because he didn't fire John Gross? And is it fair to say that the fact that Illinois made a renewed push to get him after this transition occurred could have forced him to have made a decision just because he's feeling the pressure, and now he's realizing that he just needs more time? That's question one. Isn't it? I mean, I feel like we're beating up on Jeremiah Tillman, and he didn't bring all this about, right?
Well,
Cyrus, to answer your first question.
Yes.
Okay, we'll get to your second one is. I've said this before. You fired his coach.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that rare.
No.
To come out and change your mind and ask out of a national letter of intent. So I don't think he's ridiculously wrong here.
Nope.
But all along, he said Jamal Walker was the key. He told Jamal Walker and Underwood, he and his family, the other week, that he was in.
Okay.
Now he changed that. He obviously was thinking different then and changed his mind on that. No, that's fine if that's what they want to do. But I do think Illinois was told differently.
Right.
And that's why it stings. But that was always a risk. I agree with you, Cyrus. There's always a risk when you fire John Gross that you could lose this recruiting class. I think it was a worthy risk.
And then you come out with you almost
retweet the tweet.
Well, you retweet, but then you come out in your Instagram and say, Coach Gross left. And it's like, well, hold on a second. Yeah. You're speaking out of both sides is what you're doing. All right, Cyrus, question 2.
Yeah, so don't you think that at the back of his mind, he's obviously thinking NBA at some point as a 5-star, and so he's looking for the road that he thinks is going to get him there in 1 or 2 years. And as a combo question with that, don't you feel like the more important player in this class long-term for Underwood is Frazier?
Yeah, I thought you were going to say Mark Smith.
Both of them are. Yeah, Cyrus, thanks for the call,
buddy.
I agree with, Frazier, yes. I think he's, in long-term, more important on the court.
No doubt.
I think it's more important, and we asked Sean Harrington the other day, what if you could have one position and you can get a player, what would it be? And he said point guard.
I just went 6 years of doing the Tay and J Show alongside you without a point guard.
Yes, I'd rather have that.
Yes, I know exactly how strong a point guard is, and that's what I want more than anything.
I can find a 6'8" power forward who can help me in the post.
Exactly.
Now you got to go find that guy.
Let's don't forget Brad Underwood. I was going to say this earlier. Brad Underwood coached at Stephen F. Austin 3 straight years, the smallest, one of the top
bottom
20.
15 in height.
Okay. I couldn't figure out how to say
One
that.
of the bottom 15 in height. They were top 10 in offensive rebound percentage.
Unbelievable.
Every year.
Okay.
And that's why I think Laurent Black and Michael Finke are great fits.
Yes.
And what his system is. And I think those guys can be good at the 5. You just need more players.
Yes.
I mean, you got a small roster. But yeah, all these 5-star kids, they're not thinking of college.
No. Not at all. Not at all.
How am I going to get to the NBA? Yep. And I think Missouri really helped themselves, obviously, by getting Michael Porter Jr., who's going to be awesome.
Oh, sure.
I mean, he'll be the number one player with a bullet. I don't think Missouri's going to have great success next year. Okay. They'll have a lot more than last year.
Right.
I think Jeremiah Tillman will be a
Illinois,
frustrating player, but it's going to be an exciting team. It's going to be exciting to be around it. Illinois has more veterans, and Jeremiah would have been a big piece of that, but I think he likes the excitement that's around Missouri right now. We'll see if he goes there, but yeah, I think all of that plays a factor, and I think a lot of people around him are telling him that.
I about said two things, and I've already forgotten both. But imagine, Down, if you're a Missouri fan right now, imagine how you went from absolute rock bottom. Your coach, Kim Anderson, finished dead last in the SEC 3 straight years. You were a laughing stock of college basketball.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, now that doesn't mean you're going to be a tournament team next year, but man, the excitement level that you have jumped in a matter of like a month. It is amazing.
Yeah, it's good times now.
It is amazing how
good
that's
times
happened.
right now for Missouri, especially if they get him, but we'll see what they can do, because when you go this one and done route, you better have a lot of them.
No doubt.
Like Kentucky had, or you better have a strong team around them. Missouri does not have a strong team around Michael Porter Jr., and if they add Jeremiah Tillman, him.
Not at all.
Right? I mean, they just had Frankie Hughes transferred out, a couple guys transferred out. I mean, Kevin Puryear's a solid player. I mean, think of the players they've had the last couple of years. They're not good.
Well, and you said it. If this winds up in you're at another kid that's around for 4 years, like a Mayan Kerr. If this ends up doing that, in the long run, you may look back and say, you know what? But I was saying this with Jordan Goodwin and Mark Smith. I was thinking, all right, well, if you end up landing Mark Smith.
We said Goodwin's more important than Tillman.
Yep.
We said Smith is more important than Tillman.
Right.
Trent Frazier, I think, is more important than Tillman. But there's not a lot of Jeremiah Tillmans going around. And you do need, if you want to contend for Big Ten titles, better have some dang good post players.
If it were Tuesday, I'd say this was a 2 for Tuesday from Matt and Sydney, but it's Wednesday. I don't know what to say. Matt, how you doing?
I love listening to your guys' show, and there's times when I absolutely want to get up on my soapbox and then just rant and rave and scream into the phone. But this time here, I think one of the reasons why we went for Brad Underwood is because he does have ties to Illinois. How many years he spent coaching around the state of Illinois is one of the reasons why we went for him. This is a pretty good job, and how do I want to put it? I'm not sure. We can build this.
Okay.
It's going to take us some time. The wins will bring us out of this.
Sure.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it may take longer for us to
get to where we need to go,
where we want to be. But if you can do the player development and so on and so forth, I think we'll be there.
Okay, buddy. Yeah, I do. Thanks, Matt. Again, we appreciate the call, but yeah, I mean, we don't forget, but I had kind of forgotten today, with regards to recruiting, Brad Underwood did recruit at Western. Was it Western?
It is official. The press release is out. Orlando Antigua and Jamal Walker and Adam Fletcher and Joey Biggs are on the staff for Illinois. Of course, Jamal Walker and Orlando Antigua are assistant coaches. Adam Fletcher, strength and conditioning. Joey Biggs, the director of operations, and Patrick Schulte, the video coordinator. Here's a couple quotes from Brad Underwood. Okay. Orlando has one of the top pedigrees in college basketball from his days as a player and throughout his coaching career. He was an integral part of the success at Kentucky with Coach Calipari, recruiting and developing several outstanding players who went on to become high draft picks. He will work with our bigs here and will do an outstanding job in their development as well. Orlando is a wonderful person of high character and will fit our Illini family perfectly. That last one, Orlando, a wonderful person of high character with an academic fraud scandal happening
That's interesting.
at South Florida. That'll be interesting to hear what they have to say about that more. Jamal Walker, quote from Underwood, Jamal and I go back a long way. I've known him since he was in high school. I followed him out throughout his coaching journey and very familiar with his work ethic and his character. He's done a fabulous job throughout his time here at Illinois, including during the NIT while serving as interim head coach. Jamal is a top-flight recruiter and as a former point guard will help our players grow at that position. Adam Fletcher, quote from Underwood. Adam is one of the top up-and-coming strength coaches in the country. Areas of strength and conditioning play a major role in our program. Coach Fletch has done an outstanding job to date with the players here, and I'm excited to have him continue with their development. Joey Biggs, Director of Operations. Joey's a tremendous administrator and someone who excels in many different hats you have to wear in that role. He was a great asset to every head coach he worked for at Oklahoma State. He'll be involved in all the organizational duties of running our day-to-day program and will take the lead on game scheduling as well.
I just want to give him a nickname.
Biggs?
Joey Big Dog
How about Big Z?
Big Z.
Big Z. Patrick Schulte. Patrick has been with me a long time, going back to his days as a manager at K-State. High basketball IQ, gifted with technology, and knowledgeable in all facets of video editing and now analysis. So that's 5 support staffers, assistants, 5 staff members that are filled for Brad Underwood's staff.
Back to the Jupiter's The Crossing phone line. Dave is in Tolono. How you doing, Dave?
Hey, I'm doing good. Just a couple of thoughts that I have. I'm not really surprised that Tillman wavered. I mean, a lot of these big kids have a lot of pressure, 4- and 5-star guys, so that doesn't surprise me. From a perception-wise, it'll hurt us temporarily as a program. Basketball-wise, longevity-wise, long-term, it won't hurt at all because he, in his mind, probably thinks he's one and done, and so does a lot of the people around him who want something from that kid. So I wish him nothing but the best. But the bigger concern I have is Mr. Antigua. If you remember, he was with Memphis and Calipari at Kentucky. Of course, Calipari, every program that he used to run, being UMass, under sanctions, being Memphis, under sanctions. Kentucky, as soon as he leaves, it will be under sanctions or retires. And Antigua, he goes off, and now he had academic or fraud, investigations and things. So I agree with what Jeremy said earlier about, be careful what you do because it's like the cleanest dirty shirt, and you can't just go to the laundromat and wash this kind of stuff off. Okay. If that's what you want to do, Ed Martin and Worldwide West are still around. So, but I really have some concerns about Mr. Antigua. And again, he's got East Coast connections. He don't have Chicago connections. And don't get me started on Ronald Chin Coleman. If you guys want to go with them, you should have went with Dion Thomas. You should have went with Roger Powell if integrity really matters. But if winning really matters, didn't see Roy Williams at North Carolina and all of his problems. But that's the biggest comment and question that I have. I wish Jeremiah the best, but we need players, from my point of view, who have a little bit of dog in them. That's why Goodwin hurt. That's why I love Trent Frazier. Yep. I'm not really worried about Pickett or DeMonte because both of those guys remind me, especially DeMonte, of like his dad. We weren't always sure that he had a motor. We're not always sure that DeMonte has a motor. But anyway, I could go on for days, but you guys have a wonderful show, and I'll call back another day and chill out with you guys. So,
all right,
have
buddy.
a wonderful day.
You too, Dave. I appreciate that. Obviously, I mean, we've pointed that out with Antigua.
I think those are fair points.
Very
fair. That's questions I would have for Antigua, Underwood, and Josh Whitman.
And I liked his idea about having somebody who had some dog in him. I think that was why I fell in love with Goodwin with regards to that was my guy. I wanted him. I watched a few tapes on him. I saw how he played, and I thought that's exactly what Illinois needed. We talked about that when he was a junior, about how he could come in right now and give Illinois a little bit of a push, if you will, on that team. So, yeah, good call, Dave. We appreciate that. If you want to weigh in, 359-2255. It is the Tay and J Show.
The Upper Bout in Champaign, a music store with a different kind of attitude. Their showroom features high-quality brands from Gibson, Martin, and Taylor guitars to Vox, Mesa Boogie, and Anwag Outfitters amplifiers. The Upper Bout's expert staff will personalize your experience, answering every question and setting up your guitar exactly the way you want it. Whether you're a lifelong musician looking to add to your collection or a lifelong music fan looking to buy your first guitar and take up lessons, the Upper Bout has you covered. Stop by the Upper Bout on Neal Street in Champaign, next to El Toro, or visit them online at theupperbout.com.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
Your 401k is likely one of your most important assets, but it's only one part of a comprehensive retirement strategy. Edward Jones can help you understand how your retirement assets fit into your entire retirement picture so you can work towards meeting your unique retirement goals. Contact me, Mike Kessel, your Champaign Edward Jones financial advisor at 1701 Broadmoor Drive, Suite 110. Contact me today at 217-352-0117. 352-0117. Edward Jones, making sense of investing Member SIPC.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Durakan from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days, mortgage loans and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call Matex Heating and Cooling to take advantage of Train's Weather Any Season sale. Choose between special financing for 6 years or special trade-in allowances on qualifying Train systems. Call 355-9700 or visit us online at mattexservice.com for more information. It's hard to stop a train. Any season, any weather. Matex Heating and Cooling, servicing East Central Illinois.
Subject to credit approval. Call for details.
Need an oil change? See your Champaign CarX man. Right now at CarX Tire and Auto, get a full-service oil change starting at $19.99 with tire rotation and brake inspection. From oil changes to engine repair and everything in between, CarX Tire and Auto has been serving Champaign for almost 40 years with 3 convenient locations. Your Champaign CarX man has the right oil for your vehicle and at a great deal at $19.99. Stop in, call, or schedule online at CarX.com.
Don't worry, call the CarX man.
DP Dough is the original calzone company, and they cater all types and sizes of events, from office orders to private parties to entire visiting football teams. Everyone will be sure to enjoy something different than the same old sandwiches or pizza. DP Dough also delivers to nearly all of Champaign-Urbana and Savoy until late at night. So give them a call or order online when you're hungry and no one else is delivering. With over 1 million calzones served since opening in 2006, DP Dough is sure to satisfy and fill you up. DP Dough, the original calzone company.
Spring has sprung, and for 25 years, Prairie View Landscaping has been the premier locally owned and operated lawn care provider in Central Illinois. Prairie View Landscaping is a full-service company, a one-stop shop for all your lawn care and outdoor needs. So email Lindy at Prairie View Landscaping today at mypvdiscount@gmail.com. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. Prairie View Landscaping, celebrating 25 years in business. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com.
This Metler tip is brought to you by Metler Center Physical Therapy.
Physical therapy is an excellent option for addressing low back pain. You don't have to resort to taking medication or having surgery. Trying out non-invasive options such as physical therapy first could be beneficial in not only reducing the pain but in identifying the cause. Poor posture, malalignment of the pelvis, or tight musculature can be at fault. Working with a physical therapist, you can correct these issues and develop a management plan specific to you.
For more information, visit online at metlercenter.com.
When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
This is brilliant. Sometimes we go back in time here at the Tay and J Show and we just laugh about different things. So we started talking about the 2 offensive coordinators under Tim Beckman, that one guy called first and second downs, the other guy that called third. Billy Gonzalez was one of them.
And Chris Beatty.
And then
Chris was such a good guy, too.
Right. And then Harry, who was on the team as an offensive lineman, started talking. He's like, remember the day they all went into Penn State?
Well, he wasn't here when that happened.
Well, no. But I mean, he was on the, right. You weren't on the team then. But when Beckman took the entire staff to Penn State.
I remember. And they got the offensive lineman who didn't even work out.
Sometimes I just have to laugh.
Went
at
on
things.
medical scholarship, and that was worth it.
Nowicki?
Ryan
Nowicki. There it was, yeah.
Good call,
I don't know why and how.
How'd you pull that out?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, I could have Googled it, I guess, but I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, 359-2255. We got about 5 minutes left in the show. If you'd like to weigh in, we've had a good show today talking a lot about, it's official now, Orlando Antigua is an assistant with Brad Underwood. The third assistant has not been officially announced yet, so we'll try to get you some word on that as we go the rest of the week, but we have a feeling.
The word I hear is Ron Chin-Coleman, who's a Illinois-Chicago assistant, was an assistant at Bradley, helped them get Josh Cunningham there, served on the staff of Tim Miles, was never promoted as an assistant there, but a guy who knows Chicago. But so we got Jamal Walker as an assistant, Orlando Antigua as an assistant, Joey Biggs is director of operations. There's a lot behind the scenes, scheduling, things like that. Patrick Schulte, video coordinator, breaks down the film, all that stuff. And then Adam Fletcher will return as strength coach as well.
Got it. All right. It is time to hit the Jupiter's The Crossing phone line. Tony's in Champaign. How you doing, Tony?
Hey, I'm doing well, guys. How you doing?
Good, buddy. Good.
Hey, I have a question. How old is Jeremiah Tillman? Is he even 18 yet?
I think he's 18, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I try to think about what was going through my mind at 18. And he had his mind made up to come here and things changed, and I don't blame the kid. I mean, he's got to look at his options. But I think more importantly, I get so tired. Hopefully, Lon, you won't bring this up again, or Jeremy, you won't bring this up again. Konzo Martin. First of all, he rejected Illinois as coming here as a basketball player. What makes anybody think that he'd be willing to come here as a coach? Secondly, the guy was nearly run out of town in Tennessee. Although I didn't agree with it, I thought he was doing a decent job there.
Right.
But he was still nearly run out of town. He goes to Cal, and I don't know. I mean, I think when I last looked at the RPIs, Gross's team was a 58, and Martin's team was a 54 in the RPI, this year's RPI. And I'm thinking, if this guy's that good a coach, so now he goes to Missouri and hires a kid's dad. I wonder if I don't know if the kid's Porter's dad is a basketball coach somewhere.
He was a high school coach.
Yeah, he was a high school coach.
And then Washington hired him to get Michael.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and I mean that makes sense if that's what you got to do to get the one and done player. I think, but I think the Coach Underwood style of play is so much fun and so exciting that he'll find the right players. If Jeremiah Tillman doesn't, want to come to Illinois, God bless him. Whatever. He's an 18-year-old kid that's got to make his life decisions based on where he goes to school, where he's going to get exposure, those kinds of things. And frankly, if either one of you guys, when your son turns 18, if he hasn't already, or I think you got two boys, don't you?
Yeah, I got one at 17.
Okay, so say he's a top 30 prospect, and he signed a letter of intent to go to a school that you're sold out on the coach, that he's sold out on the coach, and then that changes.
Yep, I get it. I get it.
You're gonna want to step back and go, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Tony, we got another call. But you're right. No, I got it. Thanks for the call, Tony.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's his decision.
Absolutely, and I think we came out and said that. You and I haven't really bashed Jeremiah.
I haven't tried to. I mean, it's his decision, but it has gone against his word.
Yes.
Now things have changed, though.
Right.
John Gross is no longer here, but he said he came here for Jamal Walker. Jamal Walker was kept. He told Jamal and Brad Underwood he was on board. Obviously, something changed.
Right.
So, okay, that's fine. Move on. Illinois, and that's the case. That's the case. Is Brad Underwood now has to find his players.
Absolutely.
And I think he will. But now this becomes a little tougher. There's a less buzz around your program and more around Missouri. In the end, in a couple of years, we'll see who's the better hire, Konzo or Brad Underwood.
That's a good call.
I'd rather put my money on the guy who's been to 4 straight NCAA tournaments than the guy who's missed 7 of 9.
Amen. Mark in Urbana. How you doing, Mark?
Hey, guys. It's glad to talk to you. I heard a little bit after hearing the news, but you know what? I don't know if it's just the fact that, we've been burned with the recruiting process before, so I'm kind of numb to it. And and you know what? It's I'm kind of interested in just to let Brad Underwood do his job, his style. I think he'll bring in the folks, and I'd rather have him as a coach than
Fair enough.
Martin, just because of the track record. Because Martin hadn't, he had all that talent over at California, and, they haven't done it.
Yep.
So, we just have to keep plugging away, and hopefully the assistant coaches will do it. Thank you.
No doubt. Hey, Mark, appreciate that, buddy. Yeah, Jeremy, I got to call you out on one thing.
What?
So the other day when we were talking about, has Tillman retweeted his whatever, and you're like, people, he hasn't said anything. And remember we were laughing, we're like, I think Jeremy, it's because you were asking why are Illinois fans?
Okay,
it's because we get burnt like this a lot.
I understand it, but people are after Derek today.
Right.
When his mother is telling them we're good.
Yeah, what's he supposed to say?
Yeah, things can change.
Sure.
People are attacking reporters like him who do a great job of it today.
Absolutely. Oh, I didn't know that part of it. So yeah.
I mean, when you have that source who's been right all along,
Right.
and then this happens,
Well,
that's
that's the
frustrating.
gist of it. I get that, but just
and it's not. I don't think it's his mother's fault either, because I think she wants him to go to Illinois.
Exactly.
So I just want to make that clear. But I do want to say about Brad Underwood: stick to your guns.
Right.
Don't give in. Do what John Beeline does. Go find players.
Amen.
Don't have to be from Chicago.
Nope.
Don't have to be a 5-star. Go find players who fit your scheme, fit your culture. Go get them. Go win.
I have that feeling with Lovey, and I got that feeling here in the Brad Underwood.
I hope
the
he
first
does.
time I talked, I had that feeling of a guy that is pretty sure of himself. And I think that when you have somebody like that, he's got a plan in place.
By the way, the golfer who got hurt, we didn't pay off that tease.
Oh, yeah.
Dustin Johnson, he fell in a rental home onto his back down the stairs.
I'm trying not to think of anything bad.
Right.
Try not to think of anything bad.
So he might be iffy going into the Masters.
Well, that would be bad. I mean, because he's one of the favorites going in.
All right, Carp is on with me tomorrow for a shortened show. That'll be fun. And then Lon will be back on Friday.
I'll be on Friday. We'll talk some Masters Friday. Is
Hey,
that
thanks
cool?
to our interns, Tyler Knight, Austin Birkeland, and Harry Black.
Yeah, I've been evil-eyeing them all day, little punks. All right, we'll see everybody Friday, but you'll see them tomorrow. Cardinals, Cubs, 12:45. It is the Tay and J Show.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands from Lands Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your Trane Comfort Specialist. Right now is a great time to buy a new Trane heating and cooling system from Lands. For a limited time only, we're offering 0% interest for 6 years. That's no interest with equal payments and approved credit for 6 years on any qualifying Trane system. Or, here's another way you can save on a new Trane heating and cooling system from Lands. Trade in your old system. For a limited time, you can get a $1,000 trade-in allowance on any qualifying Trane system. So pick your best deal. No interest for 6 years or a $1,000 trade-in allowance and start saving. Call 1-800-AIR-REPAIR or find us online at landsinc.com. Remember, it's hard to stop a train. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
See Lands for program details. Call 888-653-0051 for details about credit costs and terms. Regular APR is 28.99 for newly opened accounts. APR may vary, subject to credit approval.
Life is full of twists and turns. You can't see the unknown, but you can certainly prepare for it. Pekin Life Insurance Company offers a variety of term and whole life insurance policies that are designed to meet the needs of individuals and their families. Options include transitional life, universal life, preferred whole life, family term life, and many others. Visit PekinInsurance.com or ask your local Pekin Insurance agent about an affordable, beyond the expected life insurance policy that's right for you.
Our Stevie J Broadcasting Law Enforcement Official of the Month is Brian Malik from the Champaign County Sheriff's Department. Do you always have to be keyed up? Do you have to go into a situation knowing anything can happen here and I got to be really on it?
It's always got to be in the back of your mind, but you also have to learn to go into a situation and be even keeled and not expect the worst to happen. But it's always in the back of your mind that something could happen. But if you go in there at 100, obviously some people don't really appreciate that, and that's understandable.
Well, you can just tell by your demeanor, you really want to help folks kind of figure this out. And as one of your other deputies told me, it's they're not having their best day.
Yeah, most people, when they call for the sheriff's office, most of the time they're having a very bad day. And you show up and you try to do your best to make their day a little better. Doesn't always work, but you're doing your best to make it happen.
Brought to you by SK Exteriors. Their website, callsktoday.com. You're listening to WSJK ESPN.